She's calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's over at the safe haven. Detective 12, take a check that one out.
6 1 bullet, 2 point start, take your shots.
Officer still stands for talk? No. Offender in custody? Thanks. Anyone else close, wait to see what's up, let me know. First number. 10-4. Check that one out.
6 1 bullet, 2 point start, take your shots.
Officer still stands for talk? No. Offender in custody? Thanks. Anyone else close, wait to see what's up, let me know.
3-3. Let a supervisor know that I have a case report with an arrest attached.
10-4. Good evening. Thank you all for hopping in. Appreciate you very much. And I want to thank my guest as well, Veronica and Danielle. And we'll get this switched open. Thank you all for hopping in. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
No, thank you. Were you at the Danielle? Were you at the protest last weekend too?
Yeah, I was.
Oh,
I drove down
awesome!
there.
Awesome! That's awesome. How was the weather? It's been freezing over here. We've been in a freeze spell for like weeks. It's just getting warmer now.
Yeah, they still had snow and ice down there. I actually, when I started my live, I sprinkled ice melt on the sidewalk so that none of the protesters would slip.
Whoa, really? Dang, that's crazy. I know they got snow. I saw the pictures. It was beautiful, seeing the Ferris wheel and stuff, and the boardwalk all filled with snow, and then the lights and everything. I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah, the pictures of the beach with the snow were really pretty.
Oh yeah. So, the topic of the night. And thank you all for being here. Appreciate you very much, and thank you for all your ticket numbers. It's kind of crazy because somebody had sent me a clip about the specific why I'm not going to help, and I instantly. So it's different from people that don't know the background, I'll say, right? Now, you know how we got our information out there. It was from a lot of the people that live there, that live across the street, that you know what I mean, that went to this church, that still are friends with people that are key people, you know what I mean, like right. And so when I was hearing that, I was sitting there thinking about all these people, because one of the reasons that I got attacked from that particular individual is because the people that was giving him information started to trust me more. Okay? And I'm not one to sit there and go, don't give this person information if you're giving it to me. To me, it's community. Right. Regardless if I feel you're a snake or not.
Right, it takes all of us.
Right, it's community. And so when I heard that stuff being said, I instantly went back to all the people that I knew gave him information, and I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, is he literally saying this stuff?
Yeah.
Even to the point of saying that Fitz News was not a source. I know. Listen, I'm not one of those dudes. I travel, I'm boots on the ground, I do a lot of stuff at the same time. If I sat at a desk, I would be able to drop the instant updates and the photos and all this other stuff, you know? It's not about being first to me. It's never been about being first to me. It's always about just doing it the right way and going about it the right way. I don't need to be first, you know? And so when I heard that stuff being talked about, I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, there's going to be a lot of people that supplied this gentleman with information, and they're going to be upset. And I also sat there and went, okay, I know who you get your information from. I get it pretty much sometimes before you, bro. And
Yeah, it's not
and
even
I
a big secret.
and I know what you get and what you get from Fitz News, and for them to say Fitz, right? You know what I'm saying? For them to say
Yeah,
for
and
him to
True
say Fitz
Sunlight
News,
too.
right? Them too. Let's be honest. I'm gonna say it right now. Fitz News has been some of the people that have come out with stuff before anybody else. It's
Yeah,
but they put it on a website in an article based form, so it's easy for people to go to the article and then sit there and talk about it like they have inside information.
right.
So when I seen that too, I was like, oh my gosh, because um that's one of the things where it's like, okay, I've always respected Fitz News. When I met the dude in person, I applauded him for his work. I thanked him for his efforts. Like really just appreciated them and their whole team. And so when they would be talking to him or whatever about certain things going on in the community, it's like, look, bro, I've been here for how many months, you know,
Right.
and coming back to work on other cases too, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and so I was like, wow, like I was shocked that he would actually do that to Fitz News when Fitz News kind of gave him exclusivity on certain things towards the end.
Yeah. And wasn't he on their show too at one time?
Yeah, he came on their show a couple
Yeah.
times.
How are
But
you gonna
towards
go on their show and be like that?
yeah, and towards the end, they did give him after, they got friendly or whatever, they did give there's a couple little things. It wasn't huge that he came out with before Fitz News, and you could tell they were just throwing him little bones and stuff. Um because, when you're out there, you talk to the same people, you get information even more because it's one thing to be on a phone or a Zoom call. It's another thing to actually be in person and talk to them personally and get to know them on a personal level too. Because a lot of these people that I talk to, that were close or still are, it's important. They're not just sources of information. These people are people too, and they have feelings and they care and they have, they're human as well. And so it would be wrong of me to just treat them like some kind of item, like a source. And so that's why I'm always personal with these people. And I try and get to know them and also be a friend too if one is needed. So I was just completely shocked, by it. And then I saw your video, Veronica, and that's why I reached out to you and anybody else that would even want to discuss it, because I was, when I saw what was being said and I seen all of you and I know who all of you are. There's a lot of people that aren't even in chat. They don't want to, they're not trying to be out there too, because the people that come attack you from that community, is there's a lot of them, and they will literally, like, you know when we're doing social media, a lot of social media involves mental health as well. And when these people go out and attack certain individuals, sometimes these people, you're close to pushing people to the edge, some people,
Yeah, they
'cause
get die hard about it.
you don't know what people have going on in their life.
Right.
And so it's one of these things where it was like, wow, I saw in real time, based off of somebody else's words, I saw the people that gave information become victims in real time.
Hmm.
And it's victims of the same type of behavior and twisting that takes place with a lot of these individuals that were trying to bring awareness against, like JP, right? He uses
Mm-hmm.
certain tactics on people, a crowd, to get them to. I mean, look at it. It's basically the same thing. Look what Sprinkler Boy did to the protesters. Look what all these other people were trying to do to the getting in their face, knocking at their signs, nudging them with their shoulders, just
Yeah, trying to
trying to get.
instigate.
You even saw what JP did, with the assault when he came walking up and
Mm,
hit Sandra. You
Yeah,
know,
I was actually just talking to Veronica
yeah.
about that. There's also another content creator. Lately, it seems like they're kind of using a bit of intimidation to silence
what
people.
what like a new or something or what?
Just somebody, you know how like sometimes a content creator will make videos about other content creators kind of attacking or
Yeah,
discrediting
yeah.
like that.
Oh,
Kind
yeah. Yeah, like stuff didn't happen. It's part of the gaslight caboose,
right.
It's part of the game, and that's why you always have to really truly, the I'm not using like church music to pull your emotions, I'm not crying at you and slamming my fist and doing all these things to get these emotional. It's just like JP. What does he do? He creates this environment that already pulls at your heartstrings. Then they use certain words, certain actions, certain emotions to pull at your heartstrings, because when you can pull at somebody's heartstrings, their awareness goes down. And when you're talking about like somebody like JP, where they're like, hey, he's a godly man, let me overlook that little flare that just popped up over here. It's the same kind of thing. It's these
Like
little flares. Sorry,
another
go ahead.
form of manipulation.
Hmm. Yeah. And
That's
these
exactly
people
what
are
it is.
good at it. These
Oh
people
yeah.
are good at it. That's why they're in the positions that they are. And it can literally be anybody from somebody making biscuits at Hardee's all the way up to the most popular preacher in the country. It could literally go from bottom to top. It doesn't matter. It's what's in their soul. It's what's inside uh you know their their drive, what their drive is made out of. And it comes down to two things: either it's competition or it's community.
Right.
You can't have
And
competition and community, and you can't have community and competition.
I'd
Right.
rather have community than competition any day.
It's oil and water, you know.
Right.
It's just like, I was out there, uh I this what took place is I was maybe a month into the Micah case. Personally, I got out there uh in May. I got out there in May, uh and then that's when I started kind of looking around. Then I was doing shows on it, and then we started getting out there doing boots. And so I was maybe into the Micah case for maybe a month and a half. And because I was getting into it, I was trying to find more information. As I was trying to find more information, I came across that person's YouTube channel, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I started watching it. And after the first couple, I was like, wow, this is good information. I didn't know this, right? But I noticed it was really weird. I'm like, what's up with the music? Because back then it was literal church music. And I'm like, what's up with the music and all
Yeah.
this other stuff, right? I'm like, what's up with that? It was just odd to me. I'm like, okay, it's whatever.
Right.
Couple weeks go by, and I noticed. Then it, because it stuck out to me. Then I'm really like noticing it as I'm watching the next ones, and as I'm watching the next couple weeks, I'm like, something's effing off here. Well, then I started to do my own research because I'm like, why does it seem so off? So when I started looking up stuff instantly, I mean, instantly, I came across like so many victims of this particular individual. And I was like, holy, what?
Yep.
So
Did
then
you
I
ever
just,
hear about the what's that counseling thing they have online, BetterHelp? Did you ever hear about that?
better help.
Yeah, they did a commercial for BetterHelp, and people reached out to them and was telling them that they got, I guess, like triggered, you'd say, because he was on there because they were victims of his.
Oh, no. I might have. I just,
Yeah,
what really, because it's literally been like 3/4 of half a year, 3/4.
right.
Literally, what stuck out to me, because there's so much, and then I'm working on so many other things too. What really stuck out to me was when I came across the stories of the stuff that I was reading and watching and stuff, and I'm like,
It's
this is
crazy.
just like, I'm like, this is just like who I'm trying to say or prove or really find out had something to do with this beautiful woman's passing here. I'm like, it's the same. I'm like, what? So then I just kept it like I always do. I keep it to myself. A month went by, and every time, if anybody remembers when you were hanging around back then, if you guys remember, I said to everybody, I said, do me a favor, please don't type this person's name in my chat. It's my own personal reasons. I would just prefer that it doesn't get typed, and if it does, I'm just gonna delete it because it's about my soul. I didn't say anything. I didn't talk to nobody or nothing, right? And then a month later, I'm sitting here, and as I'm getting deeper and I'm talking to more victims, and it got to a point where I was like, all right, let me, and it probably still is on a members only. I was like, let me do a members only. Let me just show and discuss with the community that is like truly, truly, truly there. Let me discuss. I gotta get it off. I gotta get it off my soul. And so we did a members live, and then I had to do another one. Well, after I did another one, I had was already talking to one of his current victims, which was Rude Advice. And so I invited him on for episode 3.
I
Anne
remember
was
that.
Anne was also on there because she was also a victim.
Mm-hmm.
Rosie was on there because Rosie does a lot of work for us here, and she was just as much involved with those protests as me, because a lot of the time she was in the background running everything while I was out there being able to give my total and complete focus to what was going on out there too. And so after I did that episode, uh shortly after that is when the 911 call, or not the 911 call, the call that had my name in it, I should
The
say.
fake, yeah, the fake phone call that he set up.
Right. So when I first started seeing it, I was like, when is this dude ever aired another call where somebody was harassing him about him being an abuser, number one? I've never seen it. Isn't that kind of weird how all of a sudden I'm going to air a phone call and
Mm-hmm.
include my wife about somebody that's first accusing me of doing something?
Yep.
Right? I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that's pretty tricky. That's pretty
I
tricky.
was like,
I'll
somebody
gi-
needs acting lessons.
I'll give him that. I'll give him that. And then all of a sudden you heard CJ this and CJ that, and
There's
uh
like no ties with y'all two, so I don't even know. Yeah,
well,
you know it's fake.
even when he asked the question, and I don't think this was fake because when you look at his face when she answers him, he was like who's the biggest threat out there for Micah Miller when it comes to, the pressure on JP and all this stuff, and she was like, CJ. He's,
Ooh.
huh? That was the only thing, that she said that was true that had my name associated with it. But it got to the point where we literally had to reach out to all the government agencies and let them know that this was not true. I was nowhere where this lady was saying I was. I have data to back it up because I literally use my maps, my Google Maps, because I'm not from there. I don't go sightseeing. I need Google Maps everywhere I go to get to where I'm going, which shows timestamps, location, and all that stuff. So I already knew I'm good because all I do is go out to work and work. That's all I do. So I
Right.
already knew I was good. But that showed me right there. Wow, man. I'm sitting here talking to my members. I have Root Advice, which is already going through something that you put him through, that you already got sued and lost from what you did to the same thing to somebody else before Root Advice. And then you have a phone call where if you really are a true investigator, you redact people's names out unless you have a conversation with that person first,
Yeah,
which
yours
never
was
took
just
place.
yeah. Yours was just magically sprinkled in there and kept.
Never took place. Now, he could get my phone number because somebody that he got information from let him know that she was giving me information too. So he literally could have got my phone number and called me and reached out and said, CJ, what is this about this lady that's calling in? Here, let me play it for you. And I
Right.
could sit there and tell you the same thing. I literally work, or I'm out at work, or I'm working at a location. My Google will show my proof of where I'm at. I'm not worried about that. I would have said, dude, it's fake as hell. Would it have ever got aired? If it would have got aired, would my name have been redacted? Of course it would. That's what you do as a respectful journalist, an investigator. You
Yeah,
don't
he was
put
trying to throw
information
shade.
you don't put information out there that you know could be damaging to another individual regardless if they're competition or not.
Right.
And so it was one of those things where it's like shit, the people that I'm getting my information from are giving it to you before me most of the time now, and so I need to do this at you. So when I seen what he was doing to you guys, I was like, man,
Ooh, look at Michael Edge's comment.
yeah, that's because people were asking him, who is this person to you? You should have seen this stuff. And he sit there and he does, and this is why I bring it up tonight, because he did the same thing to you that he tried saying about this. Well, that's a fake account.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw how fake it was. He blocked me when I went
See?
on there and said,
See?
Is this the real page? I'm asking for a friend, or is this the fake one?" I got blocked.
Right.
That
And
must
also,
be a fake account.
Yeah.
Right.
I
but
haven't
also,
seen
CJ,
hundreds of fake profiles of him either.
when he does have somebody's phone number, he doesn't reach out. I'm just
He
gonna
don't.
put that out
No.
there
No,
because
yeah, that's why I
he has
brought
my
that up.
number.
Yeah, because he didn't reach out to you either. That's why when I was watching what he was saying, and I know the background of it all, like I said, I get the same information as the same stuff he gets from the same people. All right.
Right.
Maybe there's a couple I don't that are just die hard. But seriously,
Right.
Like, and when I hear this stuff being said, and I'm thinking about all you beautiful souls out there, the hard work that you do for somebody else that you never even met, right?
Mhm.
Some of you, a community you're not even from, right? And I'm sitting there going, this is the dude that is getting celebrated for all of these different things, and he is literally doing this to these people. And I said, oh my gosh, he did this thing to me as well. He did this thing to me as well. He also, just
Yep.
like you guys, had a way to contact and never reached out. Never.
Exactly.
Never.
Yeah, and I asked Guru if he ever reached out to him about helping or anything. Guru said not once to offer help, like he said on that live.
Huh.
I know we don't.
Those are his words. I know he hasn't been
Yeah.
honest about me, so I can't say that he could be honest. So that
Yeah.
I have doubt coming from my side because
Right.
dude got mad at me because he said I said something, but I never even said it. If you go back to my live, I was saying somebody
Right.
else had mentioned it. So it's like where you go back to the beginning of all that, and then the stuff that he continues to say to this day with my
Yeah.
name on it in these other live chats. Sorry. You know,
Right. I
the
got
latest
you.
thing is I have a bunch of wives.
Oh wow.
You haven't
Where
seen
they
that
at?
stuff?
I
Oh.
haven't.
I haven't
Oh,
had
I get
That's
screenshots.
crazy.
I get screenshots sent to me for days.
Oh God. Just
Yeah,
stupid stuff.
there's people that will always look out for me in all these different communities. They always got my back. And
Oh yeah.
so even though I don't have the time to have my eyes everywhere, I do have eyes everywhere. So yeah, that's the
Yep.
latest thing. I have a bunch of wives. I think he even specified 9. I think he said 9 as a
Mm.
specific.
You
Yeah,
should be all right then.
I just I let their words speak for themselves last
Right.
summer. You know what I mean? So we just continue to do the work that we're doing. But were you guys watching it live when he was talking about this?
Robbie?
Um,
Yeah. Or yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Were you
I
guys
think
watching it live?
I think I joined it like a half an hour after he started it, and I rewound it to start from the very beginning. And I actually had started like posting on Facebook immediately. I was just like, "That was a lie. That was a lie."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to listen to some of it when I was working, and someone sent it to me, and I was just like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to come back to listen to this because it's getting me too mad because everything was lies."
Oh, trust me, when I heard this stuff, I automatically, not just you, a whole bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow. Like
Yeah, my
these
phone
Yeah.
aren't
was blowing up that day.
these people aren't on YouTube. Well, some of them aren't. Aren't Most of them aren't on YouTube, aren't on social media, are no competition whatsoever to you, and you literally took them out at the knees just like you did everybody else. And I was just like,
Right.
wow, dude.
And then
You did
throwing up people's stuff like the collections and things like that. Like that's just crazy to me because it's like, okay, you get that on hospital bills that go to collections. So you're saying don't help them because they have a hospital bill that wasn't paid? Like, come on now.
why were they there? Like seriously,
Right.
why were they there? They were there for Micah. They were there for justice for Micah.
Right.
What
Right.
like and because they were standing up against some lunatic that
Yeah.
wanted to assault them, they're
Yeah, I wanna
supposed, you know what I'm saying? They're supposed to
yeah.
not, you get what I mean? So it's like, why when I heard, because I didn't even know. Somebody sent me the clip and it first started off. I don't know what was said before, but it started off by saying, now, why I won't help. And I'm like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm. And
I'm
then
like,
nothing
why
but
you won't?
gaslight and lies.
I've known, because we still talk. I've known like the the lawsuits that were coming. I mean, I told everybody last summer that it was going to happen. I said, "Watch, he's going to eventually try and bring up a lawsuit to some of you all for
Hmm.
defamation and for loss of business, and he's going to blame Solid Rock going under on you."
Yeah, and then
You
some of
know,
them's not
I
even protesters or content creators. They're just people that were ex-members or worked with Micah somewhere.
oh
So
yeah,
it's
like
just a scare tactic.
well, that's why I made that video for Sam because I listen, this is one of the reasons why I not only was there to protect you all, but also document it the way that I did because
Right.
I have footage. People want to talk crap about why I got there before everybody else and why I was always the last one to leave. It had nothing to do with JP. It had everything to do with protecting every single protester out there. And you know what? Guess what? CJ has the freaking video to prove that Sam didn't do what JP's doing or saying
Exactly. Exactly.
But
Yeah.
also, we kind
to
of have
protect.
to arrive early. Like on Sunday, we arrived a bit early, and we had to put aluminum foil to cover our license plates.
Yeah.
Because of what happened the last week, and then this week, somebody who is a retired tactical SWAT member was out there with a recorder trying to get our tags, probably to unlawfully get them run.
Yeah. I mean, this I warned Danielle that the tinfoil has been happening since the summer because it was the beginning of July when I started warning all the protesters. There's a particular content creator that is starting his live streams and showing every one of your license plates on his
Oh,
live.
I remember that.
Yep. And that's when
Oh,
everybody started parking around and putting tinfoil on there because I'm
Yep.
like, and I even sent everybody the video and I said, look, you want to know where JP's getting license plates?
Yep. I forgot
Because
all
this
about that. Yeah.
because this person walks up, parks in that parking lot, walks up with the camera sideways down, and sat there and would record. And I bet you the live streams are still up. That's the scary
Yeah.
part.
Oh, on
I
YouTube.
didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. That's why I reached out to him. I said, "Look, guys, because listen, I got eyes all I got, doing what I'm doing. I got to have eyes in the back of my head, the corner of my head, the side of my head. I notice that stuff, and it's all to make sure that you all are safe because yeah, it's yeah,
Yeah. Because
which
they're definitely trying to twist stuff up quick.
that's around when the same person wanted to get mad at me for saying something I didn't say, and
Yeah.
I think that's why they really got upset was because I was. It's like, come on, you got to if you're gonna do this kind of work, you have to be mentally aware of your surroundings and always make sure that it's about them and not you. Um,
Right.
look up at the sky. You know, uh, people make mistakes. T- fix the mistakes. They never got fixed. They weren't edited out. They were left on there. Um, you know what I mean? If you're going to do this kind of work, you got to make sure you're aware. Not only for like stuff like that, but general public too. That's why when you'll see them out there on location and there's people that don't even have anything to do with Micah or nothing, and guess where that camera goes? It goes off to the side. It goes up. If somebody's coming up to me, they see the camera. They say, "Hey, are you on? Is your mic on?" Yeah, let me put it on mute. You put it on mute. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
do those kind of things. Um, but when you guys were watching it, how did it make you feel? Because I can imagine, because normally I'm the one that gets the information. I'm not the one that puts it out there unless I'm putting it out there with my platform.
Right.
What was it like for you guys to
Oh, I was
give
just
information and not even do it yourselves at that point? until later on and then see that kind of treatment, because you guys know the platform, you know it gets more voices with that many more people.
Right.
So you'll do the thing where you'll give up the information and then you'll kind of chill back for a minute, and then you'll, how did it make you feel when you were hearing those things being said?
I was mad. I was mad for everybody, and especially the way he was just talking down and talking to people like they're just dumb and below him and stuff and lying. I'm like, you know, you're lying. And I was even
Yeah.
in the chat saying, tell the truth, Robbie. Tell the truth.
Oh, you were in the live chat saying it?
Yeah, I got in
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah, as soon as I drop off an order or something, I'm on my way back to the store and I'm like, tell the truth, Robbie. But he just ignores me every time I come through.
I
But
know
yeah,
you,
I was furious.
Danielle, you did a video right after you watched it, right? Or did you do a video in the middle of watching it? Because it,
I probably, I know I started during it.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it, you know, when I was thinking about all of it, the information from creators being used, not giving people proper credit, not acknowledging their existence, it felt like almost like a betrayal, but also like being used, like being worthless in that person's eyes.
yeah, because makes you feel super close and important there at first, and then when the information comes, it's almost like, huh, who are you? Um,
Right.
yeah, it's if especially if you don't have anything else, there's no need to kind of keep you around, so to speak, unless you reach out or something. Um, did you do yours right after Veronica, or did you kind of let it? Did you do another one, Danielle, or was it just that short one that you did? Uh, after you got done watching it, did you do
I
another
I
longer
did
one?
another one that was ended up getting banned by YouTube.
Banned for what?
Yeah.
For what?
I'm not sure. It was only up for a few seconds and then it got taken down.
Because it got mass reported.
And I'm not even sure. I like honestly,
Well,
this is the first time it ever happened with one of my videos, so I didn't fully understand it.
so you'd get an email, and you would be able to find out if you go to your YouTube studio. But you would have got an email too. But YouTube Studio is the most specific, and even if it got removed, it should still, there's still a section in there that'll still give you the reason. Because I got my YouTube, when I got demonetized. I didn't even know I got demonetized. I was doing a show on, I think, Micah maybe, or something. I was doing a show. After I got done with the show, I went to rename the title of the show I just got done with, because we talked about a couple different things. And that's when I seen that, and I instantly deleted it, because to me, it's like, I'm not, if YouTube has an issue with whatever content I have, it's not worth it to me. I'll just, you know what I mean? Like, I,
Yeah.
like, I can talk about it again in the future or whatever. It's like, okay, whatever, but not a big deal. So that's why I deleted it. But then when I found out what happened, all of a sudden, I still didn't even know I got demonetized, because to me, I just deleted the video and got rid of it, and was like, okay, and edited my title, and then all of a sudden I started getting messages from members saying, CJ, I got an email saying that your memberships were paused, and I'm like, what? Well, let me look this up. So I looked it up, and it literally told me that my video had demonetized my account uh for, it was for something crazy like promoting extremist, I ideology or some crap like that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, something
Yeah,
crazy.
that was the Luigi thing, Michael. Yeah, the
Yeah.
manifesto. The manifesto. Like, get real, right? And it was one of those things where it was like, all of a sudden I'm like, well, shoot, how do I fix it? Well, I had already deleted the video, which means you can't appeal it. So I had to literally wait 90 days to be able to try and get monetization back at that point. And then for some reason, a week and a half later, all of a sudden I'm getting emails saying the memberships are renewed. I'm like, what? Huh? Oh my gosh, what? Um,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things where it's like, after I started to think about it, I was like, oh yeah, I bet it got mass reported, because I didn't talk about any extremist ideologic views or whatever in that. And so to me, it was like, that's maybe an excuse it got mass reported for, because most of YouTube is bots.
Yeah.
So
Right.
do you know if, because a few seconds, was it a live or was it a video that you?
No, it was a video, and I mean, honestly, it could have even been something with music, or with my self rating. I'm not sure. Also, I didn't delete it. It says private right now, but there's a message that says blocked.
Could be music if you got it in there.
Yeah, it's
I don't
probably
even
music.
remember if I had music in there or what music it was. So I have to review it. But honestly, I'm still trying to catch up from I don't think I really thought about it, but a 14-hour drive is like, you're driving for 14 hours and you can't do anything else.
Mm-mm.
So when I drove
No.
to South Carolina, it's like I'm still playing catch up with everything.
Oh, yeah, right now?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
I didn't even remember the thing about that video. I was looking on my phone the other day and I saw that I had posted something that was blocked, and it had actually happened a couple of days prior to it, but I still haven't even gone to that. I still have a bunch of emails I have to get to. Like, I have a lot of things kind of hanging right now.
Oh yeah, trust me, because especially after the hurricane, yeah, it was. I know what you're saying. You lose out on a lot of work time, and then when you get there, you got to catch up for, because just like the day drive already, your mind ain't normal. You still need a day's worth for your mind to get back into reality mode kind of thing and get caught up. So yeah, I feel for you there. It's a man, that's a long drive for you, because mine was about anywhere from like 13 and a half to 16 hours each way. So that's a drive. Did you have to go through any crappy weather on the way up there, since it was snowing there?
No, thank God. I did not have any bad weather. And I ended up getting my car checked before making the drive back. Well, on Saturday, I drove from South Carolina to North Carolina because I wanted to visit the Gobble scene, where all that happened. And
Yeah.
and then because of that weird long road that was unpaved, I didn't know if my car got damaged or anything. So I had my car checked before driving up, and there was only one thing I didn't have them fix for my car, and that was the windshield wiper was torn, and I just prayed the whole way home that there wasn't any rain.
Oh wow. And you were good, obviously. Right?
Yeah, there was no rain, and honestly, like, the only
Damn, Matthew had a 10-hour drive too. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, he
I
came
would have
from
went if I
Alabama.
could.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would have went if I could. I didn't know you guys were meeting up. Shoot, I don't know if I would have been able to though, because of the weather up here. It's just now starting to get better. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So are they still, or is it just at Solid Rock now, or are they still? They only rented that building for like a month, so it's already gone by already, right? They all back at Solid Rock now after the lawsuits were filed.
I mean, I know that they were there the last the Sunday before this past one, and then this last one. So, and there was a good turnout in terms of attendees at church, I guess. One thing I noticed though is that it seemed like there were a lot. It was mostly old people.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was weird.
Well, because when it started to dwindle down to old people there, because the first couple weeks there was still some some younger people going, but then people started to come up and then turn around and go away. And I always felt that the reason that the older generation has stuck through with the church is because I always felt that there was financial ties to Solid Rock and JP's success. And what I mean by that is I was told some stories in the very beginning um, from people that are inside that they they will have people sign over their houses and
Yeah.
different monetary things to the church in the event of their passing. And so if Solid Rock or JP's success goes downhill, so does their basically their everything that they work for.
I hadn't even
Because
thought of that though. I thought it was mostly because they didn't have social media.
I mean it could be too, but you got to think about like this. These people have seen if you take social media out of it, if you were in a church, right, and you were the leader of your church, and you had congregation that didn't have social media, but still seen and experienced all the protesting and everything, wouldn't you have questions? So then you would think that those people would ask you questions. And so what are you going to tell them? You're going to either tell them the truth or you're going to tell them what you're telling everybody else. There's nothing, they're here because of Micah. They obviously know it's about Micah. So they
Right.
know. And if they did their own research, which I'm sure they did, because there's a lot of older members that would sit there and tell you that I don't know anything about the history of these people. I don't know. And you're like, all you got to do is go here and go here and go here. Or here's this piece of paper. How do I know that's real when they know dang well? Because one of the dudes was even like, my wife and daughter don't even come here anymore and won't come here anymore. And he's one of them that's going, I don't know if this is real or not, when it comes to all the shady stuff and the charges of the individuals in that church. So the reason that they do know, but I feel like they have to act like they don't, because I was hearing things like when it came to the documents that they would sign. They would sign over their inheritance, their house, whatever monetary value that the church could add on to its net worth. They would sign those away on these documents, and the legal team that he has, there's certain tactics that they use where if they want to get rid of the document, if it doesn't suit their needs later on, they can void it out based off of legality, based off of how things are worded or said or where the period's at. But if they want to make sure that they are able to keep that if somebody leaves the church, there's a way where it's ironclad and lawyers aren't able to break that document. So these people literally do have to leave the church without getting that document voided. So I heard that stuff, and that's when I was like, because I asked the same question. I was like, what makes these people still come here? You got people outside screaming. You got Micah. Micah just happened. They know who Micah is. They got to be asking questions. The answers can't be sufficient enough for somebody because you're not there for JP, you're there for Jesus. So if you're questioning your pastor, you're going to leave that pastor because it's not about the pastor, it's about Jesus. That's not going to keep you in those doors. What's going to keep you in those doors is either having secrets on you, which I'm sure there's plenty of secrets going on, because in the beginning I also heard that there's certain counseling programs that they would have, and they would literally, and this is even coming from Jeremy's mom, they would literally create division between married couples, elevate the guy, make him feel so important and wanted, talk down to the female, and try and get their husband. And they would use a spiritual war, and they'd say, "Hey, man, she's not being godly enough. Can you make her more godly? Why, how come my wife's not getting able to go up there and sing with everybody else? She's got a beautiful voice." Because she's not being godly enough. You need to make sure she's godly enough before she can come up there and sing. That's the kind of tactics they would use. So it would create these divisions in their marriage. So then they would have to get on a program that they would have to do. It was like a 10-week program that they would have to do. And then they would want to keep it in-house. So while they're separating you, what they're doing is they're actually learning all the dirty secrets about the other individual, using that hate to learn those secrets, keep it divided so they have control over both of you. And that's why a lot of the women, Micah wasn't the only one that was getting pushed towards medical facilities to get put on medication. It was a lot of these females in that church that was getting pushed medication, because their husbands were like, they need to go be more godly. Hey, we got a godly medical center over here. We got godly counseling. Keep it in house. It's all in house.
Yep. And a lot of that got used as blackmail too.
Mm-hmm. So it to me, I'm sitting there going, it's got to be secrets or something financial. And when I heard about the stuff happening with the documents and people who've tried to leave the church and they didn't leave the church, or if they did leave the church, they didn't leave with what they gave over to Solid Rock. Because when you look at, also, you got to take this into play too. How much is Solid Rock worth itself? $1.5 million?
Yeah.
What's the net worth? 5 million. How does Solid Rock go from $1.5 million to 2 million to a net worth of 5? Because you take on monetize value from your members that sign over. If they sign over your house to Solid Rock, guess what? Solid Rock goes up in value, net worth, the whole company, business, because you just added another $1 million home onto your profile. Boom.
Right.
That's how you get the net worth. So when I put all of that together, I'm like, it's financial and it's secrets. And that's why those people came out spraying with the hose and hitting people and all these other things. They're screaming at them, godly people giving them the middle finger as they drive by. Stuff like this. It's because, and that's why I told everybody, like, don't hate these people so much, because imagine if it was you signed over your house to somebody you thought was legit, and then all of a sudden you're like, crap. And
That's
you can't get your house back because you talked to somebody else that had it happen to them. That's going to make you a ugly soul too. It would make me an ugly soul.
It's also the cars, the trusts, the estates.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. And the more net worth, the more loans you can get for church vehicles, for all these other things. Plus, they were scamming the people. When I first got there, I was talking to a lady that was in, and I became really good friends with her throughout the time I was there. For some reason, she just reached out to me and and it was crazy. She was inside the meeting of the business deal that was taking place when Solid Rock was purchasing the new plot where that lady was found in her car the during the FBI raid. That land plot and the business that was happening between another church that was going to buy out Solid Rock's property when they were moving to the lot. She was even discussing this stuff when it comes to these documents and things that I'm talking about. So, and she's even friends with somebody in the inner circle still.
Huh.
Of his, and I don't know. He probably won't even know, but it's they will take on all of that, and then they basically ripped off their congregation too, because all of that money that they raised for that new land that they were going to purchase that fell through eventually, the church members never got back that money.
Mm-mm.
They kept it.
Yeah. I talked to somebody who told me that they gave a lot of money, and they zero intention at all of asking for any of it back.
Yeah, instead of selling your soul to the devil, you're selling it to your pastor.
Well, they're I know a lot of them that are upset because it was supposed to go to that, and instead it went to other materialistic things,
And well, the
and
day of chair mission
services
too. That's
services
still
that
up.
aren't godly. Yeah,
Yeah, that's still up, and you can still donate to it.
because somebody's got to pay for
House cleaners.
yeah, that have plastic surgery.
Yeah, and dinner every night somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Hotel stays.
Mm-hmm.
Their own apartments. Their own apartments as well. There's more than just Susie, and there's always been more than Susie, and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
the, it's quite a payroll. Quite a payroll he has. I'll just say that. So you gotta, Solid Rock's tithing basket can't be paying for all that on its own. It's got to come from somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So what's going on? I know. Speaking of Sam, what's going on? Is there any kind of interaction going on between people at Solid Rock? Do they? I didn't get to see it this last weekend. Do they have the barriers up?
No, the barriers are not up.
No.
So
No.
it was kind of nice because there were people on the college side of the street, on that corner, and like right in front, and then over by the driveway, like entrance that's right across from Solid Rocks. And then we also had people across the street on the Solid Rock side, on both sides of the entrance into the parking lot. We had people on the corner. We had people in the back. And I had actually kind of canvassed the area last time I was there with a friend I had made out there. We drove around to see where the different streets connect. And because of that, he tried to cut through the side, like not through the back, but through the side.
Yeah.
The people who had been around back had started coming to the front, thinking he was going out the front way. And then I was able to catch him. I was able to run down the street and catch him coming out because he has a new truck. And I'm pretty sure he was trying to kind of keep that on the DL.
Yeah.
But he just wanted to, stay away from people. And people are interacting with each other. They're talking privately. And I felt bad because I had I just got a GoPro and I had that set up across the street, and I was on the Solid Rock side, and I have to go figure out how to go through that now and edit it out because I think some conversations were had around it.
Yeah. Is the
But
peach
yeah,
tree still
they're
there?
all being supportive to each other, which is really nice.
Is the peach tree still there?
I did not see one.
It's right where you say he was leaving out of the side. That was on grass, right? Through in between a couple houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. That peach tree is right over in that grass area.
Oh, okay.
That's the it is. Matthew says it is. Okay. That's the tree that he handed me a peach from. It
Oh.
is. All right. I wanted to make sure because when I was there last time, it looked like it was dying. And that's where I'd always start off my show was over at that peach tree.
Yeah, it probably dies out throughout the year and then comes back in spring.
Well, it was crazy because this is the thing. I don't know if you guys remember. When was that, you guys, that he gave me the peach? It was like middle July or June? July? Because he would always go in and out from there. He would never go in from the entrance. And so I would always go over there because everybody would always be on the other side. And that was just, I don't know. I kind of wanted to just be over there because I'm like, I'm gonna separate a little bit because I'm trying to like have this dude talk too, and so he would always wait until all the other people were gone and he would come by. You guys would see him. But he came out there and he gave me a peach, and we had a couple peaches and we were talking for a minute, and then I think it was the next weekend or maybe it was the weekend after. Let me know in chat. I think it was the very next weekend for that protest. Somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you know anything about these peaches getting stolen?" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" I had just walked up to Solid Rock and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess on video there's two people that were stealing the peaches and JP says one of them's you." And I'm like, why do I need to steal a peach? I never even stepped foot on the property. And literally, when I walked back over there after they said that, and I looked at that peach tree, and every single peach, even the little baby peaches that weren't even, you can't even get anything out of the baby peaches. Like, they don't keep growing after you take them off. They're not edible. So there's no if you're going to take peaches off, you leave the ones that are still growing. No, literally that tree was gone. There was no peaches whatsoever. And it looked like after the next couple weeks, it looked like the branches were falling off too. So I had wondered, somebody had even made a joke back then. Did it get poisoned or something? And maybe he was going to blame me for that. So no.
Maybe he used that same stuff he used on the tree just by on Allison.
What?
Maybe he used the same stuff. Didn't they accuse him of sprinkling something around the tree that he fell out of?
Oh, yeah. He was killing trees. Yeah. So it was. But I looked at the security cameras. There was no way that that camera would have caught anybody being able to steal peaches.
Birds go and get them and stuff too. We had a peach tree right over here, and all the birds and squirrels got them before anybody else could.
Like the whole tree,
yeah,
like from one Sunday to the next, like the whole thing. Maybe it was.
Yeah, them squirrels would get them peaches quick.
Maybe it was. I don't know. It's just weird. I've never been accused of stealing peaches before. It was.
I've never eaten a peach before. I've always wanted to.
Oh, you need to.
They're so good. Oh my God, you got to get one from. Well, I always know they say Georgia peaches, but I'm telling you right now, like when I had that peach from that tree, I was like, "Damn, this thing is juicy."
It's hard to find.
Like it was a good peach, huh?
I said it's hard to find good ones nowadays.
Yeah, you got it. And I didn't know this. And then when I came back home, all of a sudden I'm looking over to my left and I see a sign that says South Carolina peaches. And I was like, holy hell, I thought it was Georgia this whole time. And no, look it up. South Carolina is known for their peaches. Oh,
Oh,
man. Yeah, get a South Carolina peach. They're good. They're
I'm
good.
gonna have to do that next time I go.
Yeah, they're so good. Peaches, they're not my favorite, but I can only do one. After that, it gets kind of, but
The main thing
yeah.
on my to-do list when I went there was Krispy Kreme. We
Oh
don't have
yeah,
a Krispy.
you never had really? Oh,
I had it back when I was in high school. We had a Krispy Kreme out here for a couple of years, and I've been craving it. Like those are the only donuts that I can eat. Dunkin' Donuts, for some reason, like makes me feel nauseous.
they do me like that too for some reason. Girl, I could have ordered you some and got you a coupon and everything for some.
I'll start sending you $50 a week if you will ship them out to me.
There you go.
You know I will
Hey,
too, girl. You
hey,
know I'll ship them to you.
they're good even when they're stale and broken
Yeah.
up a little bit, right? What's up, everybody? Thank you for hopping in. Michael says, fresh off the tree, right? I know. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why you knew they were good, too, because when he was like, because at first, excuse me, it was one of those times I was out there by myself, like, from beginning to end. I'm kind of walking around, and I know he's going in and out of this way, and I know there's cameras, because that's the first thing I do whenever I show up to these locations. Always security. Not for me, but for the people that I'm trying to help. And so I'm like, let me go walk around over here, pop up on his feed. And then sure enough, he comes driving up and he's like, hey, come here for a second. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, but you can't record me. And I'm like, come on, man. Look, you know what I'm doing, like, come on, man. I was like, never mind. I'm not, because to me, I'm like, I'm not going to be like, okay. No. It's like, you know what? I don't need to talk to you that bad if I can't protect myself.
Right.
Right? Because
Right.
the dude's twist, he'll be twisty with stuff. So, and then he turned around, starts walking away, and then he stops, and then he looks around. He turns back, and he's like, come on anyway. You can record anyway. I'm like, cool, man. So I go down there. He's like, you want a peach? I'm like, sure. He literally was like walking around the tree like, no, that's not a good one. Like he was like picking the best peaches off the tree just so we could share them. And then he just right in it. And I'm sitting there going, okay. I'm like, I watched him pick it off the tree. It's not like he was like, looking. If it is it can't be poisoned. I'm like, it can't be. It can't be, because if it was poisoned, it's not like he just went out and poured poison and then walked out and said, "Hey, come here for a second." Like there would be something wrong with the tree. So I was like, okay, I'll take a bite. And yeah, it was the best peach I ever had in my life. Period. And you can't beat Krispy Kreme. Can't beat Krispy Kreme donuts. Especially the blueberry ones. Oh my gosh. Did you have one of those? You like blueberry?
I only got the glazed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the blueberry. I got some new blueberry coffee that tastes just like those donuts. It's so good. But I love my coffee. Yes, I watched him take a bite of it first. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure.
Yeah. We were in chat saying no, CJ. It's like I know you guys were. I know everybody was like, "Don't do it." And then when I did it, you're like, "Oh my gosh, you guys watch him, and I'm like, "Come on, man." I'm not like, yeah. I sat there. Yeah, street smart's right. I sat there and I'm like, "All right, if he bites it and he."
Yeah, he didn't have time to put any blades or nothing in there, so you were good.
And I'm like, all right, we're good. And but yeah. So, when are you going back down there, Danielle? Are you ever going down? Are you ever able to go down there, Veronica? I know you got a family and everything. And
I would love to go down there. Me and Danielle kind of talked about it some, about the year anniversary going.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that
So
would be neat. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a for sure. And then I'll go out to Lumber River with you guys.
Oh, that would be
Maybe I can
awesome.
maybe I can get that's enough time too that maybe we can we can get Trey out there with us and we can take you guys out on the boat
Oh, that
with
would be
us.
amazing.
Take you guys out on the boat with us and take you the way that because it's a little different. It's a little
Hmm.
different.
Yeah.
When you're walking through the woods, you're walking through the woods. It can get, especially with time and then the different seasons and stuff. That's what messed
Right.
me up on the last trip that I went there. All the leaves and stuff that had started falling kind of camouflage the paths, and I'm like, wait a minute, because it took extra until we finally got there. Because plus I was tired as hell too. I gave up on recording on that one too. I was just like, I just put the tripod on my shoulder. But yeah, you were there, Danielle, right? I think
Yeah.
that was the last time I went. Yeah,
Yeah, in November.
yeah, that was yeah, that
And then
was.
all the trees were down, so in the
Oh.
actual slough, it was like hard
Yeah, it was
to figure
lower.
out what you were looking at because all the
Yeah,
trees were different.
yeah, yeah. It was different water level and everything. That's why I'm glad we got that footage when Trey and I went out there. Even though the hurricane had came through, I t- we delayed the trip, and we kind of sat there and watched the water level kind of go to a certain point, and I was like, okay, dude, between this time and this time is when we need to go out there because this is around where it's going to be. And so we were able to make it all work out, and I'm glad that we were able to get the footage that we did, because we could really show you guys water level and everything, what it looked like. And with like you being out there when you got to the spot, it's creepy, isn't it? You don't see anybody
Yeah.
walking all the way back there to do that, do you? Especially when they don't know where they even are at,
Right. No, no way.
because
Did y'all
according to
ever
the 911, she didn't know. Hmm?
did y'all ever find that what is it, interstate or that road that leads right to that path? Did y'all
Yeah,
ever get on that
yeah.
or anything? Yeah.
No, no. I had made plans to,
Okay.
but they weren't able to, because I had Trey
Mhm.
part of the team, and then they have a nephew that had a boat, because that was my major problem, is that I didn't have a boat. Because if I did, that day that I went there, and I know what interstate you're talking about, because ever since I stepped foot there, Veronica, I've
Mhm.
wanted to get a boat on that water and drive south.
Heck
Ever
yeah.
since. Ever
Right.
since. Because I really went in, and I wish I'll try and drop the link for you guys. It's in my video section. You see, um you can see, like, it's right off the interstate. You miss it when you turn off the road to go into the road to go to the boat ramp. You damn near miss that too, because it's literally just a couple feet after the interstate, and it's blocked by trees. And the boat, the dirt road goes so far down. If you are driving by, you ain't seeing what's going on over there. and
Hmm.
and then when you're looking off to the side and you're at your boat ramp, say you're loading something in your boat, there's literally people are going 70 mile an hour, and there's only a foot as wide as a 50-inch TV of spots here and there where you can see something in between the highway and your car and what's going down at that boat ramp. So the fact that there, it is like the most perfect spot you can literally go and get in a
Not be
boat
seen.
and go, yeah, not be seen, and go down there and drop something out.
Right. So that would that would probably pretty much like prove our theory.
I've wanted to go back. I just they weren't able. I think their nephew sold the boat. They said that he sells and buys stuff a lot, and he had a boat around that time, and they thought maybe he still had it, but I don't think he had it anymore. And then Trey's truck has been
Well, I wonder
he's
if
he's getting things repaired, and so I never had a chance to go out there.
well, if things do work out and maybe all three of us could, I don't know, maybe get JJ to meet up with us and do it.
You
Yeah.
think you
Since he
think he
knows,
would?
uh, I, I think if I talk to him and like let him know that I'll be there, you'll be safe, everything will be good. Maybe I could maybe try and talk him into it.
Mm. I mean, I still have some questions about all that,
Yeah.
but that's just me, you
Oh
know.
And in
yeah.
the comments, Matthew
Um,
said that he has the ramp pinned on Google Earth. I don't know if
yeah,
finding it
it
like
it's let me see if I can find the video. I want to show you guys. I mean, when you guys see the video and I take you when you see it just from the video, you're going to be like there's
And you had some great footage too.
when was that? Um
and if I drive again, I can bring my gear with me, and this time I could bring my drone too. I don't know if that kind of a thing would be helpful to be able to use the drone to look around.
Yeah, for the aerial view it would.
it's it's hard to and just make sure your drone has auto GPS because if it uses your phone for GPS, it's gonna fly off and go into the woods.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Um,
that's the thing. I have all this gear and I don't know how to use most of it.
yeah,
So
I almost lost my drone for Riley's strain. I was helping out cops, and that thing took off on me because I lost my. It was crazy. I lost my GPS on that thing, and I was in downtown Nashville.
Oh, that's what
Um,
happened to my husband when he got a drone and we still ain't
yeah.
found it.
Yeah,
We're
like
so
all of a
sad.
sudden it just goes zoom and you're like
Yep.
but
Yep.
I was able to get mine back. It had crashed on a bank. What date was that? I'm trying to think. It was in November or
Was it November? No, it's
no. It was
before
in
November.
October. It was October, right?
That sounds about right. October, yeah.
Let me see. That's me and Trey going to the location on the boat. So it was after that. Let me see. 10, 11? No. Let me see. 10. Uh, that's not it. 10, 10. Trying to see here. Sorry. I'm trying to find this. Like, because like literally when you're traveling you have no time, so what I do is I just take my footage and I just dump it in a folder with a date and that's it because like
right.
trying to name all the footage. um it was when I was recreating the drive of Johnny's because remember Johnny had mentioned 3 different stores that he went to in different interviews. McClellan's, um I can't remember the names now. It was that same day because during the drive, that's where we came across the interstate and the boat ramp. When did I do that?
Maybe I can look and find it.
It was when was
I know
it?
you had some of them that was on members.
I'm looking for my raw footage. It
Oh,
was. I mean, if you can, I don't know. I don't think I show it on videos that I uploaded. I think it's just on my raw footage that I don't. 1013. Oh my gosh, when was that? 11:03? No.
No, it was around, what was it? September, October?
I was thinking it was October. But it could be September. It was after. So me and Trey went out there on the 1st of September. It was after that. It was between, and it was before the benefit. So it was somewhere 9/1, 10/5. And the thing is with most of the footage with my GoPro, it doesn't show the thumbnail video. It just shows the file. Let me see. That's Bear Bluff Road footage.
Someone in the comments said 10:13.
10/13. No, that's the day of a protest. This was in the middle of a week. This was wait, it was a Saturday morning when I did it. I think 10/12. It was a Saturday. I think this is it. Hold on. I think this is it. Members. Oh, yeah, I think this is it. 10/12. 10/12. Let me try it. Let me see. 10/12. All right, so let me see, 8:23. So that, yeah, this has to be the same day because this is me going into the backwoods. Yes. Okay, so this is the same day. It was 10/12. Thank you. Okay, so now let me. So is it this one?
Good morning.
Okay, hold on. No, that's not it. Maybe it's this one. 13,038. Let's
Gonna
see.
be leaving Lumber River State Park, going to Johnny Jacobs now.
Okay, yeah, this is the video. So we're leaving Lumber River State Park right here. Let me get rid of these other ones. Let's see. Get rid of that. Okay, so this is leaving. Now let me fast forward. Let's see. Whoops. Give me a second. Let me move us around here. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's see here. Yes, here it is right here. This is the boat ramp. Boardman Boating Access Area, 17 VC Britt Road. Okay. Thank you, whoever shouted out the 10/12, because... Okay, so let me go to the GoPro. Now let me try and find the GoPro. Let me... Because the GoPro shows it so much better. So this is... And if I can't find it quick, then we'll go back to this video. Because this video shows it all, but the GoPro actually is... Let me see, 11:47. Yes.
I'd mentioned like I thought.
Okay, yes. 11:47. Hold on. There's a video before that. 11. Let's go to 46. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me go to 45. So I'm going to show you the drive leading up. All right, so you see the totality of everything. All right, that's not it. Okay, so 46 is the first one. So we'll go back to this one. All right, so this is going to show you what it looks like leading up to this boat ramp, okay? And I'm glad you brought this interstate up, Veronica, because this still needs to be checked. All right, you see all the trees. You see how thick it is. Now watch. You see what I'm saying when I said you literally turn left real quick right off the interstate? It's covered by trees. The road down there is long. You can't see it. Now watch. This right here. See all those trees going up along the highway? Now we're
Yeah.
turning. Now we hurry up and hook a left. Now watch. How you going to see what the hell's going on all the way down at this boat ramp, right? Look at how far this is.
Yeah.
And it
Look at
gets
how
when
far.
it's dark out there, it's like
Mm-hmm.
well, actually, well, it would have been daylight still, but different weather and stuff. Sometimes it will be darker. It's so hard to see out there.
So if you see right here, let me back it up just a skosh. 15. Whoops. Here, I'll just let it play again. As we're getting closer, look to the left. Look how far away the road is by the time trees start to clear out for a little bit. And think about cars going 70 mile an hour.
Right.
You're not going to be able to, at an angle, you're elevated. Because watch, notice the highway. You're elevated, distant, and at an angle. You already have that cement road that's already covering most of your side window anyway. You see that car that's right up above us, right as let's see here if I can pause it real quick. See that car that is on the highway?
Yeah.
How in that little split second, how are they supposed to see what's going on? Because if they're looking out sideways, they wouldn't be able to see what's going on. These people that are driving by would literally have to go like this for that split
Right.
second just to see what's going on in this boat ramp, okay? Now, there's the boat ramp right there. You have your boat parked right there. You're parked off to the side. Nobody's going to see nothing. So then when you see this, all right? Now, this right here, this is why it's like literally nobody can see you. Right off the beaten path, you can literally be on, what's the quickest way to get in or out? An interstate.
Right.
You're right there, and then you take a right, and guess what? You're heading to Lumber River State Park.
Wow.
This is just north of Lumber River State Park.
Now, do
And
you
that-
know if any of Winslow's land is connected to any of this or close to?
No, so we're on the top edge of Lumber River State Park. Lumber River State Park, there's also, and there's there's 4 other gates that I need to check too, because there's 4 other access points that people don't know about to Lumber River State Park other than this access point. Now, this is an obvious one because it takes you right there. You follow the river. You have to go up and around the river to then get around in that area. There's actually gates that go along. I'm trying to think of what road it is. I'm not going to tell. There's 4 gates that go along, and sometimes they're open. There's no trespassing signs on them, except for one of them. So when those gates are open, I'm going. There's 4 spots that are even closer to Lumber River State Park than this is. This is quite a distance up north, but on a boat ride, when you're flying, it ain't going to take no time at all.
Right.
Because the other from the vehicle, it's going to take a little longer because of all the traffic rules and everything. Now, when it comes to the property, if you're talking a certain attorney, is that who you're wondering about? An attorney? I don't
Yeah,
want to
I
say
think
his
I think they
name.
said it was south of it. So
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, it's in
So
a different
yeah.
by there. What's up, Steven? They're logging those air. Whoa! No way. The access roads are a no go. They don't go to the park. They're logging those areas now. Dang. That sucks. But yeah, when you see this, it's like right off the beaten path. So this will be it.
Wow.
They have to have a lot of things changing up there because, man, cutting all them trees, that there's that spot right there that they can get a small glimpse out, but you can see that vehicle right there.
Mhm.
It's already blocking most of the window. And if you are going to park, you're parking behind those trees. They're just going to see a boat. Who's going to think anything about loading something in a boat? You're going to think you're loading fishing equipment or something.
Right. Exactly.
Not even going to stand out.
That is crazy. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad you got this footage.
And thanks to Steven, too, because I didn't even know about it.
Did you ever go to the boat ramp that was over in Fair Bluff?
Yeah, it was dangerous. It was too dangerous to put anything in there. The one
Okay.
off the side of the road, right? Where
Yeah,
you, right before
the
you
one
get to
that
the
the people said you could do it like on that route that she could have taken.
You could, but that's you saw it. You saw it. It's a dangerous boat ramp. I wouldn't suggest anybody use it, honestly, because I don't even consider it. I mean, you got a good look at it, right? It's not even a boat ramp as far as I'm concerned. Like it's a side of the road that kind of slopes down, and it's filled with a bunch of grass. There's no there is just grass and dirt, and it's not even really a ramp. I mean, this is a ramp right here. I don't even that other one was just too dangerous because we looked at that one first when we went out there because we were
Okay.
trying to find different we were trying to find other boat ramps that we could get access to that was close to the area so we didn't have to pull the boat into Lumber River itself because um the first time I went out there, no, it was the second time. The second time I went out to Lumber River State Park, that's when there was like 7 people that had surrounded uh on that observation deck, and me and them were discussing what kind of ammunition we had in our guns.
Quick question.
Yeah.
At any point, did you see anything like a grate or anything for underground?
In the water? Underground? What do you mean?
Like in any of the paths by any of the like ramps when you were at Lumber River State Park? Anything that would give an access to underground?
Number one, the water's mucky as hell. It looks like root beer, so it's hard to tell. Number two, when we got into Lumber River State Park from the boat ramp, we got in on the right side and attached the boat along the edge when Trey pulled out the truck. So we floated along the right side of it. And then when we came back in to get the truck to put the boat on it, we were on the left side. And I don't remember feeling or touching anything around that area that would have had some kind of like a cage or something or a pipe.
Well, I like there were some theories about like underground tunnels.
I don't know. The only spots that I really explored in Lumber, I know there's a spot when you go to the parking lot where the boat ramp is. I know that there's a little walk area that you go south that takes you away from the boat ramp, but I never explored down that area. Um, I'm trying to think if there was any kind of uh n- no, I don't recall any kind of like sewer pipes or some
Uh,
kind of
Jill Y is asking like sewers. Yeah, like sewers. That's yeah.
yeah, I don't recall. I mean, they had a lot of water fountains there. That were there were wells, right, Stephen? Those are wells, right? For the water the water fountains, those were they had wells right in front, but those were I don't even think you could barely fit your leg down in it. Um you hit water if you dig along the road in most places. Do you remember any, Steven? Because Steven goes up there a lot too. Do you remember anything like that? I don't remember. And even on the water, I don't remember, you know, uh, paddling into one or rocking up against something or was there was there one by the boat ramp? Is there a manhole by the boat ramp? I never heard of the manhole stuff. I mean, gosh, can you imagine trying to be in a manhole out in Lumber River State Park? You'd be in a manhole for days trying to go somewhere.
Right, but if there was a like a let's say a deep underground military base type tunnel,
All the way out there?
I mean, you never know.
Because there's the closest military base is.
But they're deep underground, like they're completely confidential, like nobody would know where they're located.
Well, I don't think they would have a manhole out in public. Because I think you got Langley and then you got, well, Myrtle Beach was an old one, but you're still 2 hours away. And then Langley, that's how far away is Langley? We just went no wells or manholes. Yeah, there's no wells or manholes. Lori goes up there too. Um, oh, it's a cute puppy. That's a cute puppy. Yeah, yeah, I don't ever recall ever seeing anything. If there was like wells, but maybe like this round of a pipe going into the ground just to get water from. Um, yeah, I never heard of the manhole stuff before. Where'd that come from?
I don't know if the person would want us saying, but it's a mutual, I guess, acquaintance who's a creator.
There's a vinyl siding company. Pitcher pumps for drinking. No wells big enough to. Yeah, just little teeny things. Not like you could go through them. I mean, I don't. Steven, what do you think about? Do you guys? Steven and Lori are from that area. Do you guys? Do you think there's manholes down there? Like, because you're talking acres and acres of farmland in that area. They would have to be some long ass manholes or going to dig for maps. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if there's even one here at this place. I don't. Let's see. I don't know. Mostly it's just those trails go all the way back from the park to the highway beside Boardman Boat Ramp, according to the park ranger I spoke to. Wow, so the trails go all the way back to here? That's a long walk, man. How long of a walk do you think that would be, Steven? That's got to be a long walk, man, cuz hell, just for a boat ride is going to be probably 30 30 minutes. No manholes, might be some sinkholes. Yeah, but because the manholes would have to the tunnels would have to have access coming out somewhere. I mean, you can have a manhole coming up anywhere, but when it comes to coming out the other end somewhere, where do you think that would take place, Steven? Like if there was. Do you think cuz man, I mean, there's that highway right there, but shoot, right here, that's a trying to walk for hours. Yeah. Oh yeah. And still never made it all the way. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to. You got to have some kind of. That'd be like some El Chapo shit, you know. You got to have like lighting and a source for oxygen and all that, man. That's some
Well,
El
some people
Chapo.
do believe that out there are like these underground bunkers for, if something catastrophic were to happen. And I'm not necessarily like fully invested in that idea, but also I'm not, I don't like live down there, and right, it's really just a concept to me at this point. But part of the theory that I've heard from people though too is, if the human trafficking piece is real, how
In
are they
Myrtle
trafficking them?
Beach. Yeah, in Myrtle Beach. Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff. I mean, Myrtle Beach is dirty Myrtle. Yeah, there's probably tunnels under Myrtle Beach, but way out in Lumber River State Park. Is it? Oh, were you talking Myrtle Beach or Lumber River for the
Well,
pipes?
I mean,
Because I could see it in Myrtle Beach. I mean, from one city street to another part of the city or something. Yeah, but Lumber River State Park, you'd be hell. It takes hours just to walk. I can't imagine trying to crawl or what was it? Is it do they think that she was transported through a underground tunnel or something?
yeah,
What?
yeah. Like, but you, like these underground bunkers are like, cities. They are
Yeah.
they're like large enough. Like you could take a truck and drive through it. That like these things are big. They're intended for people to live in if ever there was like something catastrophic that happened on Earth. They're secret military
Like
like things
Yeah,
that
yeah.
underground.
I could, like I said, I could see it in Myrtle Beach. That's why I was asking, are you talking Myrtle Beach or are you talking Humber River? Because Myrtle Beach, I can get down with it. Las Vegas has it. It's already known. Las Vegas, there's underground tunnels in Vegas. That's where a lot of the homeless live and have been living for years.
uh,
So yeah, it could definitely exist in Myrtle Beach, especially under a military base. But that's why I brought up Langley in North Carolina as well, because it's like, well, are we by a military base? No. We're hours away from a military base. Are we in city area? No, it's pretty much rural area for hours. So that's why I'm wondering about the tunnels here.
right. Well, it's just that, like
Myrtle
I feel
Beach,
like
yeah,
that's
that's
where I would put one. I like if I was an architect of all of it, I would pick somewhere that was
Do you,
not heavily populated in the middle of nowhere, like a state
Yeah,
park.
like the Ozarks. If you've ever heard of them, they got like a whole underground city thing down there too.
do you know what the
Right.
soil's made out of that you're looking at?
No.
What was what was the
It's a,
question
it's a,
again?
it's a. Do you know what kind of soil you're looking at right there? It's a bunch of pine needles mixed with a little bit of dirt compacted together over time. That's why they have a hard time growing grass in that area, because a lot of their soil literally is pine needles mixed with a little bit of sand and dirt. So
Oh, so it's not like the heavy
it's
stuff.
not, it ain't like mud and clay. It's
Okay.
nothing like that. Nothing like that. That's why people have a hard time growing grass there, is because there's nothing to grow the grass on. Um, so with the building of that, um, man, there'd be a lot of sinkholes, I would imagine. Now, yeah, that stuff exists. Like I said, I'm not arguing that. In populated areas and stuff like that, yeah, you want to do something like that out in the middle of nowhere, but where's the Ozarks? It's in the middle of the country where there's soil and clay, where they
Yeah.
can have sturdy, a sturdy structure surrounding it. That's not this soil right here. It's so
Like it would cave in too easily.
you can't grow.
What you're
You could
saying,
barely
right?
grow. Yeah, it's swampy. It's already moist. You see stuff. You see the even along the riverbank. You can see chunks that just fall off
Okay.
because the soil is so unstable because of what it's made out of. Um, so yeah, if out out here, I mean, who knows? I'm not an expert, but um, I would you already see how little Fair Bluff is. You already see how it's in the middle of nowhere. There's really nothing. Um, and it's so far away from whether it's a city or a base or anything like that. And then you mix that with the soil. I would see somebody either doing that in a city or going into inland where there's more clay and dirt. Yeah, that's all it is pine needles, right, Pam? I mean, the people that live there, they literally instead of raking, they're raking pine cones and pine needles like daily out there because the pine needles just fall and fall and fall and fall. Um, but I mean, yeah, when it comes to Myrtle Beach, when it comes to trafficking, that's one of the most popular destinations on the East Coast when it comes to trafficking because you have a mixture of big city life, but the Myrtle Beach is not very big at all, and that's why they get away with a lot of the shady things that they can get away with is because it's got that big city flavor, big city stuff going on, but it's really not that big of a city.
Right.
I can definitely see the underground shit going on in Myrtle Beach, for
Yeah,
sure.
maybe
I'd
even
be
like different connections to things, that like kind of like the interstate, how you can go from one part and then onto the others type thing.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was something like that underground.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I would have to say there's more of a percentage that there is than that there's not in that area.
Right.
Um, but and thank you for the gifted membership. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate that. Um, but out here, just being out there so much, um, being out there with locals and being out there in, because I didn't just go walk paths. I went and walked deep deep into the woods where people probably didn't even go because I wanted to understand the terrain better and the environment. And really, you're talking you had to dodge more water than you did logs. It was constantly trying to avoid this stream and this puddle and all these different areas. And uh, a lot of the trees, even you'd go to step on them, brittle, break apart. There's just not a lot of, um, yeah, it's very poor soil. Central North Carolina has red clay and rocks in some soil. But yeah, down in that area, it's I mean, it's got to be like 75% pine needle.
Yeah.
It's hard to. Now there's a lot of trees. If there's now when it comes to paths, oh yeah. Just look at Lumber River State Park. Steven, how many times you been out there, Steven, there's still paths that you haven't even walked. Um there's so many paths out there. And they're so interconnected that only the local like Johnny, you know how Johnny was describing the paths back there
Right.
and asking the park ranger if he knew that path where he was explaining where Micah was at. Johnny would be one of those people from the area, from that part, knows about all those paths, probably walked all those paths when he was a kid, or
Right.
went, different, or even went hunting, things like that, like walked all those paths. This Lumber River was a town before it was a state park. So also a lot of those paths are kind of carved out from the people that used to live there as well before it became a ghost town.
Yeah,
I
that
can
would be
imagine.
cool. If we could get all three of us or four of us together. We get JJ with us.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. It would be interesting. Um, but if not, uh, it might be kind of hard right now because me and him both live in the Midwest. But uh, I'll bring it up to him. I need to because we need to go back out there. We weren't able to do it again because he was having issues with his truck, so we weren't able to make it happen again before we got the cold weather. But I know he's getting things fixed up, and we might be able to. I wouldn't say in the next month, but might not. Maybe in a month we can try and get out there with the boat and see what happens. I'll have to reach out to him because I know he wants to go back out there too. Because there's a lot of things that we didn't finish ourselves that we wanted to finish out there. We just didn't have the time, and it got to a certain point when we got done and we sat on a river bank in Lumber River and we did our video where we were discussing our experience and then listening to one of the interviews. If you guys remember, where I'm wearing that yellow shirt and me and him are talking. That's when you started hearing the gunshots going off all over, and we're like, okay, we got to get out of here now. Just because it's dangerous out there, and then
Yeah,
even
and
when
I
we
mean
got back,
there is hunting and stuff out there too, right? I mean, people do
yeah,
hunt.
there's
Yeah.
private land on part of it, but
Yeah, so if people heard like gunshots or something, it wouldn't always mean like something bad or
yeah,
you
no,
get what I'm saying?
no, 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 no. I get what you're saying because at first I felt the same way because I heard an ATV, but then when we started hearing trees cracking right on the riverbank right by us, and we couldn't
Right.
see who was watching us, and then things were getting closer. When I was out there the second time, and people are basically I mean this, they were basically telling me, uh, you shouldn't be here
Yeah, I remember that.
because I'm not from there.
Yeah.
And yeah, like hey, you're cool. We were cool. But yeah, when it got to the point where they were telling me like,
Yeah, they know
we'll
outsiders.
make you run out of here so fast, the bottom of them Adidas will come off. And I was like,
Right.
I was
Yeah, they
that
know
like
them outsiders
yeah,
too.
they kept telling me, you don't know where you're at, boy. Like, you don't know where
Yeah.
you're at, son. You don't know where you're at. I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine. And I kept telling them, I'm fine. I'm fine. And then when they said that about the shoes, and I was like, I'm fine. And they're like, why are you so fine? And I just lifted up my shirt and showed them my gun. I'm like, I'm fine, right? They're like,
Right.
that's when he wanted to be like, well, what kind of ammunition you got? And I said, it don't matter. Because who shoots first, buddy? I'm fine. I'm fine. But yeah, and then all the other weird stuff that has happened out there in all the other trips. It's yeah, you hear an ATV, you hear some stuff going on in the background, there's hunting. But then when certain noises start getting closer, and then all of a sudden you're hearing people watching you, and you can't find out where they're watching you from, and it's
Yeah.
like, all right, let me take this out just in case. And it's like, all right, let's just go anyway. Plus it was getting to that point where it was kind of starting, you got to get out of that area. Like, if anybody goes out there, I would suggest making sure that you are out of the Fair Bluff city limits before it even starts to get dark, because it's already dangerous driving there during the day. But at night, and these roads are so isolated, it doesn't take any, uh, person with power. It doesn't take them very much to be able to have you isolated out in an area, for whatever reason they choose to. It's
Right.
very dangerous, very dangerous. But yeah, let me know about that, because that'd be interesting. So you guys, are you just planning on going up there together on the year anniversary? Are you?
I would
I
have
thought
to
there was
fly
going to be
in.
something.
Yeah. We
Oh, I'm
hadn't
sure
really
there will.
talked of details yet, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's just something that we've kind of talked about some. But I would have to fly in, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. Here's their links as well. Are you going back out there again before that, Danielle, or?
I've been thinking about it. I was kind of thinking to myself, I kind of want to try to go out there at least once a month. But at the beginning of this month, I quit my job. And so I definitely need another one before I do that.
Yeah, and it's a tough trip too, for sure.
Yeah.
Those kind of hours, it takes a toll on you. It's not as easy as one might think, when you're driving that many hours and you have to be that focused and like, and then
Yeah.
going
On the
at the
body,
speeds too.
that's for sure.
It is.
And it was so dark, you could only see like a short distance in front of you with the lights driving at night. But because everyone's driving so fast, like you hit the end of the light within a couple seconds. So if there was ever anything there, I was so nervous that whole time driving. And then I got to the hotel around 1 a.m. and tried to go to sleep, but I still felt like I was in the car going 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, your legs just feel like you're still going.
Oh yeah, you got to stop. When you get out for gas, you're like,
Yeah, nothing funny.
And that's awesome, Michael. I'm glad to hear that, because that's awesome. Lumbee River Tribe, Native Americans recognized this week by President Trump. River is named for the Lumbee people. It is. And that was they've been wanting that for Stephen. How many How long have they been? This like goes back in time that they've been wanting to be recognized as a tribe, and finally, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, and yeah, that's true. They live in the area. A lot of great people. You don't want to mess with that. There, it's no joke.
Yeah, they take care of their own.
That's why JLR did a video. You know, the, the most dangerous. What do you call it? The most dangerous county in America, or something. Robeson
JLR is a
County.
trip.
Yeah, Robeson County. Yeah, it's no joke. But yeah, definitely. And I'm sure because Trey's been a part of the case with us too. So I'm sure we can make it for like the year thing as well, and get a boat out there. We'll see though. Very long time. Yeah. I wish I had a boat. I wish I had a boat to just throw in the water and go out there. I'd be out there all the time trying to
Well,
figure
that
this
could be
out.
our excuse there. We need a boat, Johnny.
Shoot. Shoot. I don't have a way to tow it unless it fits on the top. Hey, I could get a kayak, but that's not really a boat. But
Little canoe.
yeah. I can't imagine. No, I can't imagine trying to use a kayak in that river because like the part where Micah was found, it's stagnant and it's still.
Hmm.
But this river right here, man, I tell you what, you're going 4 or 5 knots without an engine. You're floating. You're floating. The current is, yeah, it's pretty strong. It doesn't look like it right there, but yeah, you get to floating. There's times where we didn't even use the engine out there because it was just letting the current take us. And then there was when we were coming upriver because the current goes away from us down, towards Lumber River in the photo. When we were coming up, it was a pain with that current trying to go upriver too. So there's a pretty strong current. But when it comes to where she was found, if you're walking back there, number one, it was one of the things I first asked Michael Francis in the beginning was I was like, would she even go down a path that said authorized personnel only? That's breaking a rule, right?
Right.
No, she wouldn't even break that rule. So when you mix that, the amount of time that it takes to get back there, how you have to really, because if you're calling from your car and then you're heading to this area, you're just talking minutes. It's already going to take you minutes to get there. If you don't know where you're going, it's not a spot that you just, right, Danielle, when you're walking out there, it's not a spot that you just happen to come across after only walking in there for a couple minutes. It's quite a bit.
Yeah, no, it's quite a bit. And also that ankle high or calf high, what was that, like a creek they have to go through?
Yeah, that wasn't twofold. Now I know that they went there after that, and there that part where we kind of had to. I think we walked on a tree or something, right? We laid a
Well,
tree
those of
down.
you with balance did. I walked right through because I don't have balance.
Yeah, there's no other way around it because if it does fill up with water, it's filling up with water going across. You're walking through there, then you got to turn here, go here. It's not like you just go right down into the
Yeah,
past
it's
the
not straight. Yeah.
past the sign and then all of a sudden you're right there. No, you're literally like going around here and there. And it's not I mean, when you look at the place, wouldn't like if somebody was going to do that to themselves, that just forget the path to get there. The the yuck that is back there, whether it's the bugs, the air,
Yeah.
the scenery, the
And want to be
smell,
found
it,
quickly.
huh?
And wanting to be found quickly, like it don't add
Right,
up.
right. For your family to come to another state to
Right.
find you.
Right. You'd want to go somewhere peaceful, somewhere like familiar, somewhere that brought you comfort in some way. I think anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah, it
October.
just it's not one of those spots that you think that. Let me show you just a couple clips of Trey and then of me and Trey out there just to give you the idea of what I'm talking about. So let me see. Let me go to this one. Okay. All right. So we're going to go, let me skip ahead a little bit. Now, we ended up trying to go through there at first. We actually got stuck. And we're in somewhat of a flatter boat as well. Okay, the boat wasn't going, but we were still getting stuck. So we had to actually switch to the trolling motor, and then at points use paddles too, because we couldn't even have the motor in there to get us through there because the motor kept getting caught. And so, and then even the trolling motor got busted from all of the, so you see all these trees that are in this water. A
Yeah.
lot of those
fall of roots.
trees, yeah, are underneath there too. And a lot of them are fallen over. There's a lot of fallen over trees in there as well. Let me skip ahead a little bit and then I'll show you the path and then the area that it looked like. So this is us going back there. And with this camera, it was this angle because it was like literally last minute. We're like, shoot, how are we even going to do any of this? And so we just kind of had
in
to.
a video game.
Yeah, we had to do it real quick. Otherwise, I would have probably had my camera like on top or something, you know. But literally, it was like we had to retool everything. Yeah, a lot of stumps too. It's really creepy. Like when you go out there, they look like they almost look like a tooth coming out of the water, and they're like coming from hell or something. I don't know what they're what are they called? They're stumps that are coming out of the water, but they're all ground down like candy corn.
Oh, from beavers.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
kind of
know.
reminded me of like Dr. Seuss's Worst Nightmare, like that
Yeah.
kind of like eerie, creepy vibe.
Yeah, like creepy, like humongous tiger teeth, but like huge or elephant teeth or something just coming out of the ground, and they were like all over too. It was I don't know if you'll be able to see some of them. Let's see. All right, so we're trying, kind of working around. Now, this is going back to where she was at through the water. And then you'll see I turned the camera. You'll see the memorial flowers that used to be there. I think, and that's where we're at on the river. If my phone, it was, yeah, no bars going in and out. So it would like kind of chop along. So there's the flowers right there before the flowers kind of got washed away. That had fallen over and floated down. It was actually farther up here. It had just fallen over and then kind of floated back.
Do you know if anything else has been set out there?
What do you mean? And one of these trees actually fell after we went back too. That's up right here. It fell over. What do you mean?
Like another memorial or like anything, like, you know.
They did go out there. I think they went out there after the benefit, but I don't think I went out there. And I think they put a bunch of purple flowers
Okay,
down.
good.
Because I went before. Didn't we go before? When was the one that you? Because you went. It was or no, it was the same day, wasn't it? Or wait, when did I've gone there so many
I know I went
times?
there after they did the
Was it
flowers.
after? Okay. Yeah, they had done the flowers and stuff. Yeah, so I think they went that morning. Yeah, look at these pillar things sticking out of the ground. See right in front of that trolling motor, it's just coming out and they're all
Yeah.
over. The day after. Okay. We went the day after. This is one of the times that I'm walking around. It was hard. You can hear the bugs. So right over here to the left is where the items were left. The purse, the phone, the items were left to the left, and then the gun and Micah was to the right. And here's another video. Okay, so here's another video. So right to the left of the boat is where the items were found. And then as we walk down, then you'll see the area. Now, it was hard because there was so many bugs as soon as you stepped a couple feet out. Listen, you can hear it. And then further on down here, you almost were breathing them at a certain point. And then so right through there is right off to the front and to the right is where she was found. And then the gun was right over in that direction as well. So then I kind of come around and show you the other side angle of it.
Now, didn't you say that like she was up against the tree or something that was in the water?
There's a log, and supposedly the log is what got bumped, which then see right in there. So supposedly the log got bumped, and then that's what made her foot go up like this to where it was like kind of like that. So
Right.
it wasn't like sticking out, but it was like if this is the water, it was like this, kind of just like
So just like the heel of her foot.
yeah, like
Okay.
the edge of the foot. And so that's the thing that doesn't make sense is when it comes to the gun and where she was found. When you're looking at the water, it's pretty stagnant, and there's not a lot of water flow. There's definitely not the current that you need in order for a body to flip around.
Right.
And if you're up against a tree, there's not enough current for you to flip, you know?
Yeah, it just don't make no sense.
Yeah, because when
That's
you're
why
looking
I really
at
want to go there for the 1 year to see like the exact time of year, time of day, everything.
Yeah. Well, I went out there just a couple weeks after. Because the foliage will always change. So this is just from September, but the foliage will always change too, and it'll actually create a different scene too. It can fool with you, just like one of these trees that is up in this footage actually got knocked down. And when we went out there, Danielle, that's when I noticed that.
Yeah, it looked
That's
completely
when I
different
noticed
from
that.
this video.
Yeah, that tree got knocked down. Yeah, because there's that one right straight ahead already knocked down, but there's another one that got knocked down, which then made it look different because walked by it and I didn't recognize it.
Now, what about the tree that they said that a bullet went into? Did y'all see that?
No,
We looked for that.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. They told me that they had marked it. Michael had told me that they had marked it. They had carved into the tree with a heart. Yeah, they had made a carving into the tree that did have it, so they could remember what tree it was when they went back. I was never able, but I didn't like. There's so many bugs from the first
Right.
time that I went there. There wasn't that many the first couple times, but every time after that, when it got into mid July, June, August, September, that's when the bugs were just so like
Yeah.
it was so much. It was hard to kind of explore it, but if there was like, hey, it's in this direction, and maybe I have it written down in my notes somewhere from when I talked to him and Abigail. Um, I might have a direction or something. I just don't ever remember uh, uh, coming across it, but I didn't really focus on finding it either. But um, yeah, that it's just with the way that it's one thing if the evidence is here, but it's completely different when you try and put that same evidence into this area, and you're like, how does that even happen? How does the gun
Right.
end up here? How does her body end up here this way? How does because if she really did set her items down and go to this spot, well, then how did all of this stuff get to where it got to?
Exactly.
It don't make any sense. The only people that we have heard from that day is JJ and Killamilla, and they both did their media tour pushing that narrative. The
Who's
water
Killamilla?
level
I
there.
never heard of that.
Killamilla. I don't know.
P. Diddy.
Oh, yeah, there you go. The
Oh.
water level in there constantly fluctuates depending on the weather and water levels upriver. By a lot of feet, huh? Watch out for water moccasins.
Yeah, probably rattlesnakes too. I can get me some more beads to bring home.
We had a second home in the Waccamaw River, fishing and boat rides. Oh, that's cool. What's up? What's up, Daddy's girl? Jonette.
Hey, Daddy's girl.
Her memorial wreath is still there. Cool.
Good.
Do me a favor, if you guys go back out there, Steven, or if you have a picture, let me know and send it
Yeah.
to me, and I'll show everybody. They turn the water brown. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying I've been on a lot of boats, and I've been in a lot of water, and I'm telling you, when we were hitting the engine in Lumber River, I sat back and I was like, Trey, dude, this looks like straight up root beer, bro. And he's like, I know, it's gross, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, I've never looked at this outside the boat and went, man, that looks like root beer. Usually it's got a bluish or greenish color, not a brown,
Right.
like a dark brownish color. It's really weird.
Did y'all see any gators or anything like that?
Well, Trey, I think there was one, but he had his shotgun. I just had my pistol. He had his shotgun, and ever since before we even got there, and shout out Trey, before we even got there, he was like, I'm gonna get me a gator. I'm like, bro, don't even effing do it, man. Don't be playing. Like, I'm not trying to shoot a gator, dude. He's like, I want me a gator. I'm like,
I'll be out there with them,
shit.
helping them.
So
Let's get
so
this gator.
so as soon as we got on the water, he's like, all right, I'm gonna find me a gator, and he just wouldn't shut
Let's
up
go,
about
Trey.
it. And then we were in the middle of he just wanted to shoot it with a shotgun. I'm like, come on, dude. When we were in the
try some gator jerky. That's
yeah. We were actually in the middle of, or maybe it was when we were done. It was during the time when we did that video where we sat down, talked for a couple minutes on camera, and then we both had our view on the riverbank, and while we were kind of talking about our experience, just a little, we did it for members, and yeah, that's when he was like, we started noticing the bubbles, like, like big bubbles coming up, bubbles that would be coming
Ooh.
from an alligator, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, so he was like, "Oh, here's that gator." I'm like, "Oh, damn, those bubbles are huge." They're not
Well,
fish
great. You
bubbles.
got a partner in crime on that. I'll
Yeah,
help him out.
they're not fish bubbles, but yeah,
We'll
I
get
was
us a
like,
gator.
I'm just like, listen, it's like, man, like any other place, all right, but not the most dangerous freaking county out
Oh
there, because they're
yeah.
not, all of a
Oh
sudden
yeah.
they're
Because they'll
boom
just
in the
cover us.
river, and they know you're not from there.
Right. Yeah.
I did. Sometimes I have to talk Trey down. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like
I
some,
think he talked me down too. Now, CJ.
sometimes I gotta be like, Trey, come on, man.
You're
But
right.
no,
You're
that's
right.
the last thing I'm like, dude. We don't need to be shooting guns, and then people like, hey, they ain't from here. Who they shooting
Oh
at? Well,
yeah.
we're gonna shoot too, and next thing you know, uh, everybody's like, where's Trey and CJ? We haven't heard from them for a while. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
something happened. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's definitely wild out there. It's a lot of wilderness. There's a lot of creatures.
Have to
And
get my boots ready.
yeah, a lot of always wearing boots out there, never shoes, because you need to have your ankles and your shins protected when you're out there in those woods, because those snakes will look just like a twig. Ask
Oh yeah.
Steven. I mean, how often do you come across snakes out there, Steven? Quite often, I bet. Would I no, that's the thing, Danny D. I get him down off the ledge before he needs the bail money.
Well, maybe me and Trey don't need to get around each other. We'd be in trouble.
'Cause I'm like, Trey, come on, man.
Out there trying to pet the gators.
This is what could happen, bro. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's he always says I'm the calmer one, which I am. I'm the I'm just I'll bite you just as hard, but I'm the calmer one.
Right.
Yeah. New signs and benches. You sent me some pictures? Okay. Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna be having because there's some things I want to talk about with Micah's case and stuff too. So I'll be doing another show in a probably Sunday or the beginning of this next week, because there's a lot of stuff that. Did you guys know that Joe Exotic? Did you guys ever watch Tiger King?
Yeah.
I never watched it, but I heard about it.
Did you read about all the conspiracy? We're going to be going through the court transcripts on Friday night. Did you see all the conspiracy stuff and how the people that were part of him going to prison actually recanted their statements now and have audio confessions about how they lied and how it was all made up and set up? Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
But I will say I thought it was so suspicious about his husband, how his husband, accidentally self-unalived himself, and the statement he made right before that. I thought that was just so weird.
It is weird, but we saw the video, not the actual event. We were doing a show at the lounge. We were doing a talk show, which is a comedy show, over at the lounge a couple mornings ago, and one of the topics was Joe Exotic, Tiger King, and how his lawyer has information that's going to get him out of jail, right? So we were just talking fun stuff about Joe Exotic, and then we start kind of looking into it, and we're like, holy hell. There's audio confessions of people admitting that they lied about the hitman wasn't even connected to Joe Exotic. What? We started uncovering this stuff, and we're like, dang, we got to talk about this at True Crime. Yeah.
But then there were also the accusations of him, having them, take care of cubs or something because there were too many mouths to feed. like all those little crimes. I guess I don't even know which specific crime he was in jail for, just because there were so many discussed.
Yeah, there was. Well, the one was the murder for hire plot. That's the main one that got him.
And that was
The
the woman, the woman with
Carol
the
Baskin. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
How he hired a hitman to take out Carol Baskin. Well, that hitman and other people involved in that came out and said in audio confessions that they made up the story. So that part right there, yeah, like the hitman it even came out and said, "I lied. Joe did not hire me. We did this together," because they were all facing sex crime charges. So
Oh.
they ganged up together, and there's something more to it. I haven't figured it out yet, but they ganged up together and created this thing to not only take over the zoo, but to get him in jail and all this other stuff. Now, when it comes to PETA, I think PETA had some kind of when it came to like the mistreatment of animals or something like that. Now, those same people that took back their story, that are saying that they lied now, we're also part of the people that were telling these were going on to testify that he mistreated these animals, and that's where a lot of those other charges come from. And so it's kind of like this thing where it's like, whoa, was there actually a conspiracy? This is why he's been pushing so hard for Trump to pardon him. But when it comes to his husband and self-unaliving himself, I didn't want to watch or show the video of the actual thing taking place, but there's other security video that shows the people that he was with.
Yeah, I
And
saw that.
when you see their reaction, it's not somebody going, no, no, no. It's somebody that was just sitting there and all of a sudden, whoa, and just was like, did this really just take place? So, that's why you always have to. I'm an owner of a gun. I also make sure that I protect not only myself but other people. You always have to treat, whether it has a clip in it, whether it has a round in it or not. It does not matter. You always treat a weapon as if it's loaded, because stuff like that can happen. You're fooling around. It's not loaded. All of a sudden, boom.
Right. Yeah, a lot of
It's,
people make stupid mistakes like that.
it's very dangerous.
I thought that was so sad for that poor kid. He was so young too.
Oh yeah, very young. Yeah, and there's a lot of weird stuff that was going on in that zoo too. Obviously, you see the way some of the people were acting, because everything was filmed. You see some of the way people are acting, and you're just like, those are some weird facial expressions that don't usually take place unless there's some kind of substance involved going on in that. So yeah, it's a crazy one with that one, but yeah, we'll be getting into that. But
And
yeah,
CJ,
I'm gonna be
about the lawsuits that came out today.
the what?
Sorry, my dog is making the weirdest noises. Did you hear about the new? Did you hear about the new? Oh, thank you, Veronica. Did you hear about the new lawsuits that came out today?
From who?
So against the protesters. So Reginald filed like 4 or 5 lawsuits, and then that kid from last weekend, Dylan,
Against the protesters?
Yeah.
How? For what?
I mean, like I think it
Dylan.
is in response. It's an act of retaliation because what's his name did the countersuit. So then I think JP had Reginald and Dylan. Like I think he encouraged them to file lawsuits. But if you type in one of the protesters' names, like one of the main ones, if you type their name into the public index, you'll see all the people who are suing them.
Yeah. I know who's got lawsuits, but what are they suing? What is Wayne
Like the
Miller?
documents aren't available yet and they haven't been served yet.
Oh,
So
so nobody knows what they're. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, because I don't see, and that's surprising that the uh, Dylan did. That's weird. I don't understand what kind of, because the lawsuits that he's bringing to the protesters, there's a couple that it might be a long road because of some stuff that got blurted out on camera. Um, you know, you can literally take that footage and if things happened, you do have, it's not going to be closed, shut, done, over with very quick like it will Sam, because that's pretty easy to prove. But when certain things are said on camera, there's a couple words that kind of ignite the whole, my business went down because of that kind of thing. I don't understand what kind of lawsuits, unless it's just some kind of harassment thing or something, where to get it into the court system and it'll just get dismissed or something. I don't see what they would even have it, because it's not like Wayne Miller's ever came out and talked to the protesters. Usually he's just walking from his car inside the front door, and that's pretty much it. Dylan, I never really noticed him out there mixing with protesters or having any kind of interaction with them either. So I'm kind of curious as to what kind of lawsuits they're trying to pull. I mean, anybody can file a lawsuit with money, you know.
I mean, honestly,
Anybody
I
can
think what
sue
they're
anybody.
trying to do is they're trying to put the pressure on, because for each of these lawsuits, they're each going to have probably more than one day in court. And then these people are going to have to take off from work for each of
Yeah.
those. And,
Yeah.
If they already have anything planned, any kind of like family vacations, it's one of those things where it's like they're
Yeah, just being a
I think
nuisance.
it's intimidation. They're just trying to inconvenience them to get them to stop and keep their mouth shut.
Yeah, because I don't see what they would have that would, uh, like I said, JP doesn't even have what he would need to win the case yet. Um, so I whatever they bring, it's, yeah, just like the lawsuits right now. Like there's two people that JP could legitimately have a lawsuit against, but really you would have to have a lot of stuff on your side to say these words that were spoke on camera made this happen. You would need a lot of this happen because of these words, but it could be possible. That's why last summer I was like, hey, you guys might want to just give you a heads up. It might be coming in the future, because when those words get said, yeah, it can come. But most of the other people, like Anne, um, people that it it's just an annoyance, is what it
Right.
is.
That's
It's
why I really want to try to go out there like once a month, just to like show my support, like have another person there, and and to keep the numbers, because there really is power in numbers. And I I'm I don't want anyone to get to that point where they decide to sit it out for the week.
I don't think they're gonna. They've been, ever since I left. My last time there was beginning of December, I think. Um, they've been there strong ever since. Really, I don't think anybody. I think um, they're always going to be there. Like they said, until nobody's going there anymore. You know. because most of them are local. You do have a few that do travel quite a bit a distance to make it there. You know, a lot of them are 2 or 3 hours away. But there's a lot of local, and I don't think anybody will. I see it always continuing, um, even if because he's gonna keep trying to have service unless he, if and even if he does services online from his house, I would still see people being out in front of his house. Always um, just being around. No matter
There's
what.
a house for sale very close to the church that I kind of want to buy.
I can't imagine how much that house is costing. Because
Well,
I've
thing
seen
is though, is
some of the
it's so
apartments.
close.
I was like, woo.
It's so close, and I saw a realtor there showing the property on Sunday while we were out there protesting, and I remember thinking to myself, that guy is not selling a house today. Like no, no way. Once these people learn that the protesters are out here every Sunday doing this, like there's no way they're going to want to buy that house. So I have a feeling, you could get a pretty sweet deal on it just because of that.
I don't know. What do you mean by sweet? Because I would see those houses being worth probably 5, 6, 700,000.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they would have to knock off something just for the inconvenience of,
Well, I
the
mean, now's the time to buy one because the economy's shit right now. I mean, because hell, in about a year and a half, you're going to see the housing market all of a sudden uh, be a be a seller's market, and it's just going to balloon like crazy when it comes to the prices right now. But man, it's tough to get a loan these days with uh, the restrictions that they have just based on the economy and um, but man, it'd be a beautiful place, that's for sure, because there's not a there's not a horrible day down there. It is a beautiful neighborhood down there. Like it's one of those neighborhoods where it's like, man, if I had some children living at home and we had a family, it would be one of those neighborhoods that you literally could walk around and feel totally safe and secure just walking on the sidewalk at night in the dark, which you can't say a
yeah.
lot these days. Um, and so, yeah, it'd be a great neighborhood. The beautiful homes too. Um, but yeah, even those duplexes are like 5, 6, 700,000 just for a duplex because you're just blocks away from the beach. It's
Yeah. Are those the ones that look like Easter eggs?
no.
Like the different colors?
There's the ones that are so when you're standing at the corner where you look to the left and there's solid rock sidewalk, and you look to the right and there's solid rock sidewalk. So you're on the corner right in front of the orange
Mhm.
sign. The house is behind, or the duplex is behind you to the right.
Oh,
All of those. The um the colored ones are the ones to the left of Solid Rock's parking lot. Those are
mhm.
the ones that were built recently and are a little more cheaper built. But the ones on the right side, they're more they've been there. They were part of the where the service people lived.
Well, it's the ones
Uh,
to the left. That's one of them was getting shown by a realtor.
oh, really? Yeah.
And
I
actually,
mean,
like the realtor, I could like when they park to get
um,
out, I even asked somebody like, "Is that Mark Kaufman?" Because it looked like Mark Kaufman. Is Mark Kaufman a realtor? Do you know?
um,
I haven't heard anything about
he's
that.
he's got his hands in a lot of stuff. He might. I don't know. That's a
If
good
it wasn't Mark
question.
Kaufman, it was his doppelganger.
He's got a lot. He's got his hands in a lot of different things. I wouldn't be surprised,
Yeah.
honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if he is. Yeah. So, and I do kind of want to do some of that fisherman stuff that I never got into from back then too. Just been working on Sebastian so much with all that stuff, but um, everything's kind of calming down over there, and it's just ending up nothing but misinfo being spread and all that because there is nothing now at this point. Even though there's
So,
a year coming up here in about well actually in 27 days there's going to be the year anniversary for Sebastian being missing. um but I'm going to be doing a couple more shows here coming up, probably more towards next week with this. So if you guys are available, let me know. um is there, I know that there's a lot of people out there um that are basically affected from the stuff that RH was saying, and then him kind of doubling down on nobody uh getting help. I That kind of was like, I don't know, it's one thing if you don't want to help somebody, but then to promote why you're not helping and you're not helping, that's kind of rude too, because then that kind of takes away attention
yeah.
from
But also,
that. Are
he
you?
asked for help. He asked for help when that happened to him.
Yeah, yeah, he had a GoFundMe up and everything too, because yeah, he was getting sued. He actually lost the lawsuit,
Yeah, that's all
and
he did the whole time on that live was live flex
hmm
and just down talk everybody.
well,
Like almost on purpose.
rude advice. He kind of let us know what he was kind of doing. So
Yeah.
who
I
knows,
like it. I like Rude
D-
Advice. He's pretty cool.
yeah. Have you guys gotten any backlash from that,
Yeah.
or
Well,
you
every
know,
time I do a video about Robbie or something, and I'm like, yo, I used to follow him too, you know? I mean,
yeah,
that's why I
yeah,
went
yeah,
to him when I
yeah,
needed help.
yeah,
So, but
yeah.
people, they don't always they don't always like listen and understand. They just, you know,
The
do what they
attention
want and run with
span
it. Yeah.
is just, it's like, come on, people.
Yeah.
Like the
I'm like, I
attention
can only
span
break
is
it down
so,
so many times.
yeah, yeah. I hear you. What about you, Danielle? Is it kind of, well, you had that one video banned or whatever. You didn't do another one after that, or did you leave that one?
No, no. I had done one before that, and I left that one up. Um, but yeah, no. I no. I'll put it this way: nothing has come up from his videos.
What's it is that still going on, or is there still talk about the whole, or basically just said what he said and moved on? Was as there did
Yeah.
he try and reach out to either one of you after that, or just,
Nope.
I know he blocked you, Veronica, because
Yeah.
you,
He blocked me on Facebook when I said, is this the real or fake? And
yeah,
then I was blocked.
yeah, uh
He hasn't responded to any of the messages I've ever sent him on Facebook, and and Anne had told me that she had, well, I had given her permission to give him my information originally when he had reached out to her. Um,
why
to
didn't he reach out to you in the first place?
well, I mean, honestly, like, who knows? But actually, I think it could have to do with the fact that when I first released that 911 call from the Gobbles, I did
Yeah,
it on a live with her because then I had been experiencing like mic issues that night that I
yeah,
tried to first put it out.
yeah,
So, it might have been one of those things like they were reaching out to her because it was technically released with narrative and to put into context on her channel. But
Yeah, but it was yours.
And let me just say this really quick. So
because you did that way before that conversation even took place. Because wasn't that part of the FOIA stuff that you even shared with me long ago? You know what I mean?
I had reached out to you about it too, but we had been looking into it for a couple of weeks before. So this was October. This was early October that I first came upon it. But that night, okay, I stayed up really, really late trying to put together a video to kind of put it out there. I was getting messages all night. And when I got the message that Robbie Harvey just messaged asking, wanting a copy of it. So I was a huge fan of his. He was one of the people who really kind of inspired me to even want to do this. Do you know, I screamed, I cried when I read that message.
What message?
Because I was just
use
holy
initials.
Shit. The reason I wanted to be a content creator, RH just wants to talk to me.
Well, yeah,
but
that's what I was wondering.
But it never happened.
If I'm asking somebody, hey, can I get some information? I'm going to ask that because I don't want to disrespect somebody, right? So I would ask that person, is it your information? And if they said no, I would have been well, can I reach out to the person that it really, because it's when it comes to content, I need to have your permission from you. I don't need somebody else to say, yeah, they said it was cool, because you getting some tricky waters. You getting some tricky waters when you get content, you share it, and somebody else told you, yeah, I checked with them and it's cool. Oh boy, yikes. So to me, if I'm RH and I'm reaching out to somebody saying, hey, can I get that 911 call? And I'm told that it's not mine, then can I get the number or the email or the contact information from the person that it does belong to, because he would know this better than anybody. I need that permission before I can use this, because somebody can come back on me legally. So
right. And
he
that's
never,
the thing is that the agreement was he would contact me
before you got it or before you gave it to him, or
so that's the thing is that I don't know how things went down with the other two people, but I just know that on my end there was an understanding that he was going to be contacting me.
So he basically stole your content because the other person that told you whatever you're saying told you wasn't honest, right? Because he never contacted you. That was part of the deal where he was supposed to contact you. That's part of the agreement.
That was honesty on his part, though.
But that's part of the agreement for you sharing the content. Part of the agreement and stipulation is that he had to contact you. He stole your content.
Right.
Because just somebody else says.
Yeah.
Unless you said it was okay, then it's different. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing is this was a while ago, so I don't even exactly remember what exactly I said and what order what order of things was kind of agreed to, but I just know that part of the agreement was always that he was going to contact me.
Yeah. Is it in writing?
It's probably in text or messenger. No.
Because you have a legitimate.
Some things are in
Because you have a legitimate reason for him to have to take that down. I'm just telling you right now. Unless there's writing.
That's only one video. That's only one video. You know what I mean? It's not gonna.
But that's a huge video. You did the FOIA. He didn't do the FOIA. You did the FOIA. That's why I didn't put any of this, even though you shared it with me. I didn't put anything out there that you shared with me, and you know how much you shared, right?
Yeah,
There was a
even
lot
looked
of
up
shit.
pictures and
I didn't share none of it. And if I was gonna, I would have asked your permission. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you you have a legitimate, like, this is something huge. This is a 911 that you had to literally FOIA yourself. And
Yeah.
for somebody to shystily get that through another avenue, it doesn't he knew it was another avenue because he didn't come to you. If he
yeah,
knew
I
it
think
was
he
yours, he knew he should have came to you, and you could you I mean, a FOIA, that'd be messed up if I did a FOIA and I had something and I was sharing it with somebody and they put it out for themselves with without we'd be having and then you're not
So
talking to me? Oh yeah, we'd
so
be
and then
here's
lying.
the weird part though. At the benefit concert, that person, like, I kept seeing that person like noticing me, but then like acting like he didn't.
yeah, he did the same thing to me.
It was just like really weird, and I ended up like, I was just like, yeah, I figured I might as well come over, introduce myself, Danielle, and like you could tell like he knew who I was, but there was something very
You stayed away from
like
me.
cold about it. Huh?
He stayed away from me. He would notice me and then he starts to get a little farther and farther and farther and farther and farther.
Right.
Cuz I don't play like I saw what he did. I saw what he did at the benefit. He wants
Yeah.
to sit there and be like, "I didn't bring my wife cuz yeah, buddy.
Yeah, like anybody even said anything about that.
I was there. I was there. I saw what happened. I knew what happened and all the stuff during the benefit. Don't Yeah, there's a reason why your wife wasn't there. You made it told your wife. It's because it's too dangerous, baby. Please. If you're if you're oh, if your wife knew what mm,
Didn't he scare somebody?
I can't say.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't
Okay, so that
because
just okay. Because I kind of heard through the grapevine myself. So okay.
I don't
I'll
know the
just,
story.
I'll just tell you there's um just some shady ass shit going on. I'll just put it that way.
Oh
It
oh
ain't it
oh
ain't for me. It ain't for me because then all of a
oh oh
sudden
oh.
there'll be another fake CJ call and I'll have to call these different law enforcement agencies and report this and I'd rather not. you know and it's one of those things where it's like
Tread lightly.
you're well no your wife already experienced, let's be honest, your wife already experienced
Right.
some of the BS that you got caught on, right? And she's always gonna have that in the back of her head.
Right. Yep.
So it's
Oh
it's
oh oh.
it's
What a
not one of
web.
it's one of those things where it's like you already knew the man was like this. You can't get mad at somebody if something's not said
Right.
because you already touched the pan and it was hot. It's not
Right.
my fault if you want to touch it again and it's burning hot again. It's called learn.
Yep. That's
Um,
what I tell the other people that try and say something negative, and I'm like, look, I'm just trying to warn y'all. Like,
I
I
wish
can't
I
help you. I
could.
cannot see the receipts.
I wish I could. I wish I could. I'll just say my eyes are everywhere, right?
Right.
And I'll just say it's pretty disrespectful to Micah
Yeah.
when you leave the benefit for a particular period of time in the
Mhm.
middle of it for that, bro.
Mhm.
In the middle of the benefit, you couldn't wait until after. You were there for another night. You couldn't wait.
Yep. I heard some things. I had people reach out to me and tell me some things. So,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he knows what I'm talking about if he's watching it. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, and he's
Even
probably
though he's but listen, I'm there, you know. Uh uh it's the little I always have to be looking for the little things, and sometimes I come across stuff where it's like, yikes.
yeah.
Okay, if other people knew about this, but it's not, you know, in due time, time will always, the truth will always come out
Right.
over time. You, you can't hide from the truth too long, especially when you're on that kind of path. But well, is there any kind of like, is there anybody at the protest, or I should say in the chats of the protest, that kind of have that you don't deserve help kind of stuff? Is there any kind of impact from the stuff that was stated on that person's live stream talking about not helping you? Has there been any negative impact in that area when it comes to being able to do what you guys are doing, for the justice for Micah? Is there any kind of impact on that, the words that were spoke, or is it just kind of, people screaming something for a day or something, and then really it's just back to business kind of thing?
No, I think it's really opened up a lot of people's eyes, and people are
Yeah.
seeing now that, okay, if it wasn't for the protesters and these other people speaking out, I mean, would we be here today? So, and then knowing people now starting to dig more into other people's past, and they're like, okay, well, he's one to be talking. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's helped open up a lot of people's eyes, and I think it's kind of benefited the protesters in a way. But I know, like, a lot of people, whenever he brought up the whole Cassie situation, and people like, yeah, I understand. And I'm like, well, that's two different things. You can't compare those two. So, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of, I would say probably like in the middle, probably. I don't know
Yeah.
how you really say
Well,
it.
even if it's one person, it's worth it, because that's one person that will make sure that they stay away from that net that they might get caught in.
Right.
Um and that's what's important. It's
Right.
I don't know. I don't understand it. It's about
Yeah.
community. That's why whenever we're doing stuff over here, I'm either dropping links, showing the links on screen. It's all about community. And
Right.
so, I never understood, even like, I could never even go to it, like, to stream a protest on my channel. I would need, for me, I would need to have permission from whoever it is. Even with for friends, I would still need to have permission from them.
Right.
I would not feel right just waking up one morning and seeing Jonette doing a live and me just going, "Hey, I'm not even going to ask. I'm just going to go ahead and stream it on my channel." That's fucking rude.
Right.
And
It's a
so,
lot of respect, that you have for each other,
yeah,
and
you're not even asking somebody. You're just going to stream it like it's your
yeah.
it's so yeah, I just you see that. And then with the Fitz News stuff, is Fitz News, I know that there was a lot of people tagging Fitz News and a lot of
Oh,
the
I did.
stuff that was
And
being said. Has Fitz
yep,
News,
I tagged
have
both
they?
of them. I said, "How does it feel to be caught?" Or like,
Yeah.
we're all just in our rooms, I guess.
Well, I mean, Fitz, like I was saying in the beginning, like when you know where the information comes from and you get the information at the same time,
Right.
and then you see certain information, because I'm just as much, in my team, we're just as much as sleuthers. If a Fitz News info comes out, we are already discussing it before somebody
Right.
even makes a thumbnail. So
Exactly.
when you see, it's like, oh, that's from Fitz News. that showed that just came up. Oh, that's about Fitz News now. But then
Yeah.
it's talking like, I got sources in the
Yeah.
FBI, and it's like, dude,
He's
when
got.
you when you really turn in stuff for the FBI, yeah, that's like one of the things that bothered me, because it's like the FBI or any of these legal organizations, it could be your local F and PD. They're not working with the general public. They're not giving the general public information unless it's somebody that they're close to, and
probably not even that.
they already know. Well,
Right.
and so when it's like, and when you're saying the FBI, it's like, bro, this is how bad it is, and this is how you can I could literally tell you guys that I have a direct connection to the FBI on a daily occasion, right?
Right.
You know what that could mean?
Google.
I called up the FBI, or I emailed them. I called up the FBI and said, "Hey, is there any updates?" And you know what they're going to tell you every frickin' time? No.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm in contact every day
And
with
why
the
is he trying to
FBI.
filter information? Why is he trying to filter people's, witnesses' information and direct them to go to him instead of, actually going to the FBI?
Yeah, that's like some other people. Hey, if you come to me. That's one thing
Yeah.
I never told people. Did people come up and say, CJ, or they send something to me? Hey, yeah, I'm gonna turn shit in.
Right.
Because it's like, if you ain't gonna do it, I'm gonna do it because it
Right.
needs to be done.
And you wouldn't send somebody a fake link when they're trying to get help from the FBI.
No, I always encourage anybody to call the authorities first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you need, it's and they're not gonna, like, you could sit there and ask them, hey, is there an update on this document that I sent you a couple days ago? They're not gonna give you a damn update.
Right. Yeah, he's just so full of himself.
They're not even going to tell you if you can do something or not with whatever you're talking about. They're not going to tell you. They will take the information down. They will take the statement from you, take the information, ask you to send whatever you're sending. You send it. They'll give you a reference number, and you rarely ever hear back.
Right.
Ever. So, it's just some people are good. Some people are good.
I think two people have a close relationship and they play games to deny it. If you follow me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are connected that you'd be surprised, and there's some it's probably you already know.
Yep.
I know a
it's
lot.
Funny how they kind of shout each other out sometimes,
Yeah, it's not even that too. There's I don't know. You'd be surprised who's working with who and who's really not working with who, because there's a lot of people out there also that pretend to be about one thing, and really if you knew what I knew, it's not at all. But it's for Micah, not for me. So but yeah, I was just curious, like, if you guys have been dealing with any kind of aftermath from that. But that's nice to hear that it kind of woke up some more people when it comes to that, because unfortunately, I've been talking about it since last summer. And there's people that have been around in those conversations since last summer, and some of those people still don't
get it.
Don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have people like that still too, and I mean they will like defend him to the dying T, and I'm like, okay, well go do that. I'm telling you and I'm showing you receipts, so
yeah,
I can't help you. I did what I could. So
it's the power of persuasion.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to persuade nobody of anything. I just want to warn them and protect my people.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, because when I did it, it was it was crazy there for a
Yeah,
while.
I just tell them, we'll go over there, let them yell at you some more. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't
I
care.
wanted to, I knew what you guys were going through when I seen that. I was like, I gotta extend a branch because I knew the same things even though it's a different situation, and
Right.
something else was it went to a way different another level that I don't a sick twisted individual takes it to the level that it was taken to with that,
Yeah, that was
because
like,
that was way overboard.
it was. It was. And that I was like, okay, I never quite understood gaslighting until I saw that live.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what it is right there. Because it
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but like, I
Yeah.
know you're
You
lying
think
right now.
you expect people to be better,
Right. And
you know?
did y'all see any of the chat in there that night?
I didn't watch it live. I didn't even see the chat. What?
I got to see some of the chat, and I was so proud
Oh
because
yeah.
there was people in there saying, you're wrong, this ain't right, and calling him out. I think Leslie jumped in there and was like, oh, you didn't take none of my stuff.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
it
sure
was.
there's a lot of people that I'm sure were upset. Where did it all come from? Because it seemed when I started watching the clip, it seemed like there was some animosity from the beginning of when he was talking about it. Like what happened?
Oh
Like, because wasn't the title of the video "Why I Won't Help" or
yeah,
something?
yeah,
Right?
and
So what
it was
was he
someone wanted
getting?
him to like pretty much just like mention it, talk about the lawsuit, and not like
Yeah,
really
it's
like
part of Micah's
advertise,
case.
huh?
It's part of Micah's case.
Right. And, just like talk about it and, let people be aware that, they do need some financial help or whatever if they want to help. And somebody sent me the clip where he's like, you want me to talk about the lawsuits? Like, what's there to talk about? Like, what do you want me to say? Like, just real cocky with it. And then after that, it was kind of like, it just kind of, you know, everybody got to talking. And then he did that live and it just blew up from there.
Oh, so it was basically a response to the chat that was going on in the show.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess someone was in the chat, maybe that brought up, why it hasn't said anything about the lawsuits, and then he just got cocky with them. I didn't see that whole thing. I just had that part like sent to me, and I was
oh,
just like, "Are you
so
serious?"
it was just like, hey, how come you're not covering the lawsuits like you
Yeah,
would if
yeah,
JP
yeah. And he's
was?
like, "What? What do you want me to say about it? What? Like just real cocky about it for no reason,
Yeah, there were like a lot of lives on TikTok where they would be talking about it. They would share the like GoFundMe's and Cash App accounts.
Yeah,
And then somebody had messaged him, I guess, asking him to, mention it on his channel. And then the response that was mentioned on TikTok. And then obviously people were upset. And then people were tagging him in the comments. And I think he was coming in and seeing
yeah.
it. And so he was responding to that. Like, otherwise, I don't think he would have even acknowledged it.
Yeah, because
It was just
he got real
bad
cocky
PR,
though.
basically. Because I mean, really, because
Yeah.
um, a lot of where he gets his information from are protesters.
Yep.
I mean, I'm
Mhm.
just being honest.
Yeah, protesters
Yeah.
and other
There's
people
some
like
people
us,
in the yeah. There's
yeah,
some
like
people in the
Matthew said,
neighborhood.
Matthew's comment where he said, you're fighting against evil, like what do you expect? Well, okay, why aren't you getting anything? Aren't you fighting against evil too?
Right.
But also,
And I
yeah,
mean,
that's
he
the
would,
thing, is that another piece of it is that it's the same abusive like tactics that JP is using.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
when he brought up
Manipulation.
Miss Ann, that reminded me so much of JP Diddy's what interview was it where he was like, oh, what kind of drugs that make you see things or whatever? Maybe that one time he did that same
Oh,
thing when he
News
was like,
Nation. Yeah.
yeah, he did that same thing on that live when he was like, I haven't asked anybody. Oh wait, I take that back. That was that one time, and sweet lady, I was like, to the T.
Yeah, and that's crazy too because Anne, when I had Rudy on, Anne was discussing when she was with her 911 call and
Yeah,
how he didn't even credit her back then. So when I
Ian took her call that she had with JP Diddy.
yeah,
Yeah. And it
and
was
he wouldn't
actually Miss Ann. Me and Miss Ann had started talking, and this was back when she was a mod. And I hadn't really said too much about Miss Ann because I didn't know how far she wanted me to talk about it, but I don't think she really cares right now. But and I told her the situation, that was going on and the person that had reached out to me. And she was like, yeah, you're right. Let Robbie know, and then that way you can remain anonymous and stay safe as well. So I did that, and I sent them messages on all platforms. And then one day in the chat, everybody's like, Robbie, check your messages. Veronica really needs you.
for you to
And
stay safe. Wait,
yeah, and it
wait,
was
wait,
Miss
wait,
Ann
wait.
that sent me the actual FBI link. And I was like, well, I don't know why he sent me this. She was like, I don't know either, but something's not right. And I was like, yeah. And then me and her both kind of drifted from him after
Well,
that because it was like,
well, yeah, because when she was on with when I had Rudy on, she shared her story
yeah,
with RH and how she was screwed over, and this was back last summer.
yeah,
And you guys can see it. It's on the playlist, Wolves Amongst Sheep. But wait, wait a minute. So you said that so what you were sending so wait, you said something else happened to somebody else. So somebody sent him information and then was getting harassed
no, it was
or what?
someone when the case started. Someone had reached out to me and said that they were being gang stalked, and there was this organization, and I researched it and everything, and I'm like, okay, so these tactics and these things are actually real, and I'm first coming into this, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm getting into, and Miss Ann's like, well, yeah, go to Robbie, or sorry, and because he's supposed to be safe. So I did, because this person really felt like their life was in danger. And then they thought my life would be in danger, like if I came forward with law enforcement. So the safest thing to do that we thought was to go to him. And only thing he said was go to the FBI with that. And he got mad because he had to get off the live to respond to me. And because everyone in the chat was like, hey, Veronica needs your help. Like, go read your messages. And he got mad and got off. And I even messaged Miss Ann. I says, is he okay? Did something happen or something? And she was like, I think he's all right. He just sometimes ends abruptly and stuff. So, and then right after that, he messaged me, and I'm like, well, I don't know how to get up with the FBI. And he sent me micahmiller.com. And I was like, wait a minute, that ain't right. And I went back to Miss Ann, and she was like, yeah, this is the FBI link. I don't know why he would send you that. So anybody, just go directly to the FBI.
Yeah, it sounds yeah, because I don't know if I would
And then he even talked about
yeah,
that in that live too. He said I don't send links, and
yeah,
I got hundreds of fake
yeah,
profiles of
fake
me, and
links.
this and that and the other. And I'm like, dude, it was you.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, it's yeah, it's one of those things where you got to turn it in.
yeah,
Because I can't trust somebody else to do it.
right,
You know
right.
what I
And I
mean?
mean, then I
That's
really didn't know. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I was just coming into this,
yeah.
but now, like I know I've grown a lot smarter, and so I mean, I know now what I'm facing and what to do,
Yeah.
but at the time, I was just like everybody was even saying go because he says he's safe and got a direct link. So,
When was this? Like when did this take place?
that was July because I actually showed
Yeah.
the messages in the video, and I've showed it before. And
Yeah.
then remember when Flo did the interview with JP Diddy,
Mhm.
and how that one person was like hooping and hollering, like just dogging on Flo and stuff. And then the interview came out, and then R was talking about, well, if you've been in contact with Ree of any kind, then you're going to get locked up by the FBI, and they're going to come knocking at your door and everything. Yeah, like he was really
I
scaring folks.
mean, the FBI, it's just like I had conversations with some of the protesters in the beginning. They started noticing their tags were getting red. I said, don't worry about it. They're
Right,
checking to see who's around because they need to
right,
know who's a threat and who's not a threat. It's nothing to be alarmed about if you notice your tags are getting ran, unless there's some other odd shit happening. But most of the time, they're just trying to see who's a threat and who's not.
right.
Um, hmm.
Yeah, it was. I,
That's
I mean,
interesting. Yeah, so I don't know. I see what are you guys talking about right now? Um is there any kind of specific things each one of you are discussing on your channels at the moment when it with Micah's case or
uh,
that you want to
Danielle.
promote?
So I had recently done a video about corruption in the probate courts. I got really good feedback from it. A lot of people liked it a lot, and honestly, it's probably my favorite video that I've done. So,
Is there a way you can kind of give us a small description of like what you're discussing?
so it just it has to do with people guardianship, being able to gain control of a person's life and sell their home, sell all their assets, and take all of their rights away, and that is happening in the South Carolina probate courts. And there had been reports of the elderly waiting for a bed in a long-term care facility, waiting for a bed to open up in jail.
Yeah, I did see something about they had some kind of thing going with seniors, taking care of seniors better or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to I tell you what, when I first started learning the laws of South Carolina when it came to females' rights, I was totally disgusted. So I'm sure it's a problem where I wouldn't
Right.
doubt it. A lot of husbands are taking control of their wife's possessions and doing this and that.
Right.
The stuff
Yeah.
JP got away with isn't too hard in South Carolina. He just also had some friends on his side too.
Right.
Right.
for what-
And I think part of the problem too is that the judges in the probate courts, they get chosen by the lawyers. They don't get voted in by the people. So that could play out like a lawyer saying to somebody, "Hey, if you rule in my favor, I'll vote for you."
Yeah, the good
But
voices.
also the judges do not have to have any legal background at all. You could come in off the street, and if they vote you in, you're a judge.
Dude, I need to move to South
I know, I was
Carolina.
just about to say,
Right?
let's go, CJ.
Yo, EvilleCJ Media and Investigations will be going local government there.
Pow on the desk.
Right. Yeah, like shoot, hook me up. I'll yeah, but yeah,
So
the good boy
And
system.
there's something else I'm kind of like looking into, but it's one of those things where you can't exactly look into it without kind of putting the message out to as many people as possible and having them contact you with information to be able to put the pieces together anyway.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've been trying to look into is, so from what I understand, John Paul had the motto, I only do oh shoot, now I don't remember. But anyway, I don't do baptisms, weddings, or funerals. I don't do that stuff. But if there is some suspicion that they're using the elderly members to sign over their houses, their estates, their trusts, whatever, we need to look at the death records of members, former members. We need to look at like their property, their estates, their trusts. But when you try to look up obituaries for a specific church, it's so much harder to find because none of the funeral services are being carried out by Solid Rock Church.
Yeah.
They're always having their funeral services at another church selected by their family members, So if people out there know of former members or deceased members of Solid Rock Church, let me know their names so I can look for the paper trail to see if their assets were acquired by the church.
Yeah, you're going to find a lot of them because that's what I was hearing in the very beginning about. Like I was saying, they would get you to sign people's houses, inheritances, life savings, and they would do manipulation with the documents in order to always come out on top, no matter what situation it was, whether it was letting one go or making sure they kept it no matter what. So, it sounds like it would be up to a family member to actually, because I think that's the only way you'd be able to get that information is getting it released from each individual family,
Right.
when it comes to
But I just
where their assets
now we
went.
just need to identify these people who could have been financial victims, who could have had, and chances are Evelyn Califf.
I mean, when it comes to the investigation, if you do come across any of it, I would give it to the FBI because they're already going to be investigating that, and I'd be surprised if they hadn't investigated that already.
Right.
From the beginning when they took over, because when they took over, when the FBI took over in May, they did it because of the financials of the church is what they were digging into. That was their initial investigation and why they opened it. And with the financials is going to come, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that stuff that you're talking about, I hope you are able to, but the families might have already turned that over to the FBI, and I don't know if they can necessarily talk about it either. So it might be a very slippery slope for you, safety wise. You know what I'm saying? Because if there is something that you do come across, and it's not included, or it's something that they don't want out there, you could be putting yourself in danger. And the most extreme, impeding an investigation, which could ultimately affect the outcome when it comes to everything, because it's there's going to be a lot, with the stuff that I was hearing. There's a lot of people that had it happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does reach out because there's a lot of people that went to that church over the last 10 years. Um, even beyond that, but I'm just saying specifically 10 years since JP really like took over Solid Rock. I think that's when a lot of that activity, I think he learned a lot from his dad, but I think with JP's generation, they are the generation that ruins it all because they don't know when to stop and they don't know when to look behind their back when they're doing things. And so I could see it be all over. But then you're talking Tom Winslow's going to be involved, because you got to have a lawyer to do certain things when it comes to properties and stuff like that. You need legal assistance with it too. Um, and so it's got to be a huge part of the financial investigation because um, Solid Rock's only worth so much, but you have all of those other investments that they would get signed over to inflate that value, to then use that inflated value to then get more money from the banks to then have that funnel out in a whole bunch of other directions. And it's got to be a good chunk of it, honestly. Just be careful, though, because I'd hate to. Uh, it can get really tricky when it comes, and you definitely don't want to.
Well, if I find anything good, I'll have you release it.
No. I don't even want to see it. I don't even want. Listen, I don't even want to see it. If you get it, you turn it in. Don't even. You can tell me about it. you can tell me about it, but I don't want to see it. All right, unless no. That's between you and them. Um, but I can tell you right now that what you wouldn't need family's permission for, or it wouldn't necessarily dig too deep into it, is a lot of the a lot of the connections when it comes to how that activity can go down legally, and the connections um, outside of the church, whether it's, how do I say it, whether it's elected officials, whether it's community members, whether it's local business owners. There's going to be he can't do it on his own, that stuff, and you always need a team of different people to be in order to get all of those different things, especially with the financial stuff. Now Trisha is going to have a lot of experience and has a lot of experience based off of what she's already been incarcerated for, embezzlement, and different things, financial crimes. So she's going to be able to also know the people that he could get in contact with, because one of the reasons I always felt Trisha always had his back 150% was because she was the mama figure in his life, kind of showing him, hey, you can do this way. Don't do it that way. But Trisha, I want to do it this way. Listen to me. Listen to me. No, you want to do it this way. Okay. And I think you'll find a lot of connections that can really push that part uh, with those two, especially Trisha. And you're not going to be like getting into family, um, because the even asking, like, I can imagine these people. This is why neighbors are even so scared, across from Solid Rock, is because they know what JP's capable of behind the scenes and what he's able to get away with. And um, there's so many people that don't even want, they don't even want their voices, I would have so many people that wouldn't even be on camera that you could barely even hear them if I didn't have my mute on. And they were like, no, I can't even speak one word because he's going to know. And then all of a
Yeah, the water
sudden,
was deep.
yeah. And then all
It's
of a
running
sudden,
deep,
I'm
deep.
I'm gonna get attacked and harassed, and I don't want none of that. Yeah, these people are scared as hell.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but there's I think Trisha did a lot more than people think.
Hmm.
And I think there's a lot more connections that people haven't came across yet that could really shed a lot of light on the church's activities when it comes to the business dealings and how they do this and that, because I really feel like Trisha is always going to be the star witness when it comes to a trial or anything like that, because Trisha is going to be the one that knows the left side and she knows the right side. She knows everything that's going on, and I think that's why him and JP and Trisha are like stuck at the hip together no matter what, because she knows all this about me, and she knows I know all this about you. You know this about me because I jumped right into it. But hey, aren't we rich, buddy? You know.
Right.
But when
Yeah.
she's got cell bars facing her and she's on that witness stand, I bet she's gonna sing like a canary about everything that's taken place. So there's got to be a lot of stuff with her that people haven't even came across yet, for sure. Thank you, Daddy's girl. JP's telling on himself through his sermons alone. Yeah, he does, don't he? He does. That was one of the things that the members would tell me too, is that when they were going to church, or when they would go to the church, when they were going, that there would be something going on in their marriage. There'd be something going on in their marriage. They'd be doing the counseling stuff, and then he would start preaching about Jessica, even though the lady's name might have been Anne Marie. He would use Jessica's name, but use everything that Anne Marie needed to be preached at about, and he would literally, it was one of his tactics where he would use your own things against you, just change the name
Just to
on the
keep people in
pulpit,
check.
just like Micah. He'd talk down to her on the pulpit, and yeah, that's how he would keep people would sit there and go, he's effing talking about me, and then it would
Hmm.
stir it up more, create more division. They would get more out of each one of,
Yep.
dirty
Been in
game.
churches like that before.
Hmm. Dirty game.
Yep.
And thank you, RC. Great guest and shows tonight, CJ. Thank you. And thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. And thank you, too, for being up here. If you're not subscribed, I'll drop their link again as well. But yeah, I'd like to, hang out again. And if there's anybody else, that wanted to get some support and stuff, just let me know. But like I said, when I seen that stuff being said, I seen what was being done. I was like, wow, this is not cool, number one, because they've always been there. Number two, I know where you get your information, and a lot of it is from them. So to do that to them was really, I was like, wow. And then the same kind of things that happened, um, the gaslighting, and I was like, that's why I reached out to you first, and I was like, if you need me to help in any way I can, let me know, because
Right.
what happened was not cool. And
Yeah.
when I
It
hear
really
somebody
wasn't.
say I won't help, I'm like, no, we should be helping everybody. That's why I got the
Right.
title, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Um,
That was just a low blow for so many people, because it's like we're trying to stand together and help each other, and then here you are preaching to everybody like, no, you know, it's just
hmm
like, what was the purpose?
Yeah, and you guys, none of you are. I'm not even at 100K. You know what I mean? And none of
Yeah.
you guys are either. So it's like it's pretty easy to talk shit, You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
say stuff like that when
Yeah, and the downsize it, like, it's just, small claims or whatever, but small claims might sound small, but it could be a big claim, or a big thing for people,
5 to
like normal people
10,000.
like us,
Yeah.
that's just
Right.
trying to survive. You,
Mhm.
And I feel like the main part of doing all of this is raising awareness.
right,
We might not always know exactly what happened or why it happened, but we're raising awareness that it did happen.
Mhm.
exactly.
And so that
Mhm.
people can all contribute in some way, even if it's just understanding it better for themselves and looking into it. But just making somebody aware, like, hey, JP is using his same tactics right now against the protesters, against the content creators,
Mhm.
against the Micah Ducks, against anybody who is pro justice for Micah, because that is
Right.
anti everything JP. And
And that
just
sounds
Mhm.
like,
making people aware it's happening, and hey, if you want to help, they have these sites if you want to look into it.
Mhm.
That's nothing. That's raising awareness on the issue, that it's
right.
continuing, it's a pattern. So it's
Mhm.
Perfectly said, Danielle. Perfectly said.
yeah.
Yeah, especially with the laws. It's pretty bad when you can I I hate even saying it, but it's pretty bad when you can abuse your damn wife and get away with it. Um, the my heart goes out to all the females in South Carolina. It really does, cuz
Right.
it's you better know who you're marrying before you marry them, because once you get married,
Yeah.
you know, um
Yeah, because I never understood that.
good.
Like, how is it the man can take the wife's things and that's considered marital property, but then the woman can be kicked out of her house? Isn't that marital property? Like, how does that work? Like, you can kick her out, but that's her house.
It's that's and that's why I hope to see a lot of the changes in the local government there. You see Macy's going to run for governor now. There's different things that it's just like when I went to Moscow, Idaho for Idaho 4. There's some areas in the country that are stuck like 60 years ago in some
Mm,
areas. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
yeah.
stuck 60 years ago in some areas, and it's like, wow, how what? But at the same time, a lot of these areas are corrupt, and it's the good boy system, and they know they've been doing it for generations. They know how to keep that that well-oiled machine running, and they know
Yeah.
what oil to use and when to use it, and it's so hopefully you start to see there's more women that are being elected now in South Carolina. I think that's going to make a huge difference too.
Yeah, we definitely need the
Um,
laws updated and then the laws withheld, or,
yeah.
by law enforcement too.
Well, uh, I think Macy might actually be good for South Carolina for a lot of those things to kind of get the ball moving, because I think what it is everybody knows,
Right.
everybody knows how it should be, and the people that are enjoying how it used to be still to the current day, they know what they're doing is wrong, but they're able to get away with it. And all it's going to take is that little teeny snowball that gets started, and all of a sudden
Hmm.
that big avalanche is coming, and I think it's going to happen soon. I really do. I really do.
Yep.
Especially with the government of South Carolina, um,
Right. And so many
the
eyes
whole
on them
structure.
now.
That too, and Micah's case really brought a lot of attention
Yeah.
to that state, not only to the area, but to the state and the things that are going down. Because I look at cases every day. I I I don't come across these very often where there's a state that has laws like this and there's somebody, I wouldn't have never known about it if it wasn't for Micah.
Right.
And we've been talking about it ever since, because when I first came around, I started looking at him and I'm like, this is effed up. I didn't even know this still existed in the United States, this kind of stuff.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
what the heck?
Yep. It still exists all over the United States. That's for
And then
sure.
that there wasn't even a woman's shelter for domestic violence in Myrtle Beach. It's like, what?
Yeah.
This is Myrtle freaking Beach, man. And
Yeah, there's a
they got
lot of places that don't have resources and places and like things that like a number or something like where like sometimes someone will call 911 and order a pizza, like, and people aren't trained to know that they're not calling to actually order a pizza.
mm-hmm.
So we
Yeah,
do need we do need better training and updates.
yeah. Yeah, especially when you have Micah's 911 call and she says she wants to do this to herself, and the operator just goes, "Okay, well, let me find out where, how about let's try and talk her out of it, right?
Right.
Honey, can you just wait a second? Can we send somebody, please? Can we have somebody talk to you?" Like, there
Right.
was none of that. It was like, "Well, instantly, well, I don't think you're over here." And I'm like,
Right.
"What? Somebody just told you they want to do this."
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We need we need better training and updates, that's for sure.
I really feel like it, though. Like, with this whole, the benefit and the FBI raid, that's when, because from the beginning it seemed like such a long road, throughout the spring, throughout the summer, and then you get towards the end of the year, and then the raid, and then the benefit, and you could feel that tidal wave starting behind you, and it started to hit you a little bit in your back, and I really feel like we're going to be at that spot in the next 6 months, where all of a sudden that wave has just picked us all up and it's just pushing. I really feel like with the change in government, the awareness with Micah's case, and everybody standing up, because all the protesters there and their family, their friends, their loved ones, the community, they've made a lot of attention happen
They
in
have.
that Myrtle Beach. And that's one of the, even though it's a small city, it's one of the biggest cities in South Carolina. That's going to bring a lot of attention to the
Right.
politics of South Carolina. And so I
Oh
really
yeah.
feel like that mixture of new change and the awareness is going to come together, like a warm and cold front. Next thing you know, you're going to have some wicked storms, baby, happening
Yep.
after that. Yeah, it's just a matter of time, and
Yeah.
I
And
have
big
I
shout
have
out to
felt
the
it.
protesters that go every
Yeah,
Sunday. Big shout out to them.
still there. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Shout out to them, and I'd be there every weekend if I could.
Oh yeah.
We'll be coming back soon. I just have to get it planned out for sure, before we do. But I'm definitely going to be coming back,
Yeah.
here soon. So I want to say thank you both for hopping up. Appreciate you very much. I can't wait to see. And here's the links again for them. I know I dropped them a ton, but I'm gonna keep dropping them. Uh, I can't wait to see what you uncover, Danielle.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Um,
Danielle, she does her thing now. She can find some stuff.
yeah, and I would like to, we can always do some more stuff, but don't have to talk about a particular individual.
Right.
I just wanted to kind of, for those that didn't come across it, it's one of those things where I see other people that I care about and they get uh attacked or treated like shit or gaslit, and when I go through the same thing, I always want to just kind of help people say, like, "Yo, this isn't
Yeah.
something," because they might come across that video and they don't even know, who you are, and then they believe that, and it's like, no, people, I want to show you that these people have feelings too. These people deserve respect just like anybody else.
Right.
And you really do just have to pay attention, you know.
Oh yeah.
You can
Yeah.
really tell who's good and who's not good for you. Just look at the small things, you know, and it'll tell you a lot. But thank you all so much. I appreciate you two so much, and thank you again. And definitely, I'm gonna be there for the year, so we'll definitely see if we can get a boat out there, and we can all go out there together on the boat too. So, yes, thank you, ladies, for being on panel again. There's their links. Go sub up if you're not. We'll be doing something here, more Micah Miller stuff in a few days, 4 or 5, somewhere around there. But we do have some more stuff to get into, and I want to have you on in the future for this fisherman stuff, Veronica, because you personally talked to Johnny Jacobs. You've had a bunch of conversations with him. We've done our work out there, and I kind of want to go more into that kind of discussion with the fisherman stuff
Right.
here in
Yeah,
the
I think that
future.
would be
So
amazing if all of us could get together with him, and
yeah,
that would be so cool.
yeah, it'd be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I tell you that.
Danielle
But
could be the one to talk me away from the gators, and then you talk Trey away.
yeah, there you go. we'll just hang candy in front of you. Look over here,
Right.
Smarties. Smarties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you both. Love everybody. Please have a peaceful, positive evening. Give these protesters some extra love and prayers. They need it right now with the
Yes.
attacks that they're getting from these individuals. And really, we're just trying to help other people because that's what it's about. When you're out there doing the right thing, trying to go about it the right way, you are constantly open for attack because you don't play the same games that they do. And that's why sometimes you just have to stand up for yourself and be like, look, I did my part. I told you that the peanut butter sandwich was moldy. It's not my fault if you want to keep eating it. All right. Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you both so much. And
All
we
right.
will
Thank
see
you,
y'all
CJ.
tomorrow night. Thank you so much.
All right.
Blessed
Good night.
night.
Thanks.
Good night. Thank you, everybody.
You guys are okay over there? Alright, is your victim in the hospital? Someone shot there. Alright, the ET doesn't take pictures of the police and domestic related? She's calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Stop out with this.
2412.
Someone's calling so they have a female center of communication. She's the worst to say that. You're checking 12, check one out.
6 1
Also, still saying stop. Offender in custody. If anyone else follows my just let me know. 10-5.
3-3. Unless supervisor knows that I have a less attached.
1830. Okay. Try that one more time for me.